Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock them out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit them with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break them, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers, let's go.
Yo, this is the Iceman, and you are listening to Can Crushers Podcast. And you can definitely rest assured it's now the coolest podcast you've ever heard.
It's like we're dropping into an abyss.
We are dropping into an abyss, and I'm glad I got the bad one out before the show, so then that one sounded really good.
Saying hello to Mrs. Can Crusher.
Saying hello to Mrs. Can Crusher. I got a horrible one out, and just so I could get the premium product for you guys. So you're welcome.
Premium product here on Can Crushers.
Premium products.
I'm Mark the Mark. That's Sir Michael Jenks. And we're in for a ride today. We don't have anything planned. We're going to talk about wrestling. But normally, like, hey, we have to talk about this, we have to talk about that. But listen, we do have to pause.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into the shenanigans, we have to pause, and holy moly, what a rough couple days in the sports world itself.
Yeah. Yep.
Starting with Wednesday night, superstar Billy Graham, and he passed away. And we'll touch on something later. But superstar Billy Graham, what he's done for the wrestling business, I didn't see a lot of his like early stuff, and shame on me. Maybe that's what I'm going to do this week, and we'll get to that as well. But when I think it's superstar Billy Graham, and this is later in his career, him and Don Morocco just going at it in the WWF was, if you tell me or you make me talk about Billy Graham, it's going to be that feud because, you know, they were trying to make Morocco a face. Graham was bad. I love that. There was just so much great storytelling between both of them. But then, listen, we're not going to be able to do, or I'm not going to be able to do, the right respects for him. Take time. If you're a wrestler, a wrestling fan, a closet wrestling fan, whatever you are calling yourself, just a fan of us, take time and dedicate a minimum of an hour and just search some matches of superstar Billy Graham. Technical wrestler, a brawler, awesome on the mic. Listen, if we're going to say total package, you know, it's not Lex Luger.
Yeah.
Joking. Yeah, Billy Graham was amazing all around.
Yes.
So I'll raise my beer, and yes, I'm drinking beer tonight. We'll get to that here in a minute as well. But I'll raise my beer for superstar Billy Graham. Battled health issues for a long time. Wife thought he was going to pull through this, and then when I heard it, I was like, man, that sucked. That really sucked. That somebody that's always been kind of like on my bucket list to meet. And I know getting older in age, it just probably wasn't going to happen. And now it's not. So, superstar Billy Graham.
To superstar Billy Graham, you know, I, like Mark, haven't seen much of superstar Billy Graham, but what I have seen, I saw his title win over Bruno Sammartino back in the late 70s. I saw a few of his matches. And again, I'm not going to do him justice, but one of the things I always recognized about him was he was legitimately the first total package with charisma, with physique, with talent that ever graced really a wrestling ring. I mean, you had guys that could talk, weren't great wrestlers. You had guys that were fantastic wrestlers, but just couldn't talk. And that's where managers really became prevalent, because a lot of managers needed to be that mouthpiece to help get those guys over. Billy Graham didn't need a manager. He could use one, he could have one, but he just never needed it because he could do it all himself. And when you think about what we joke about now is Vince McMahon's pseudo amazing package, the total package that Vince McMahon always fell in love with. It's what Billy Graham was to a T. He was that first. He was that prototype, if you will. Not John Cena prototype, but the original prototype of what people needed to be. And I think Triple H said as much in his Hall of Fame speech when inducting superstar Billy Graham back in, I think it was 2004 when he was inducted. But, you know, he brought it up and he made similar comments to it. He was everything you wanted him to be. He could talk. He could do anything. And, you know, listen, I used to watch old wrestling promos till the live long end, matches, whatever I could when I was just hanging out during college and had nothing better to do and no friends to hang out with. So what I wanted to do was I just sat down, put on YouTube, found clips, found Superstar Billy Graham, and that's how you get really indoctrinated into all of that. And it's always a fond memory for me. I always loved everything I've seen of his. I want to see more, need to see more. Thank God there's a nice, lovely app that's called Peacock, and that has all of this library. Maybe not as much as it used to on the WWE network, but it's still out there. So the libraries are still there, and the opportunities are still there. So while I don't have a beer, I have what is lemon water, and I'll raise my glass to that.
I'll raise mine one more time then for you.
There we go. So rest in peace, Superstar Billy Graham.
And not skirting past that one, as I'm sitting here watching NCAA softball, which regional started today, by the way, Jenks. So my weekend is I just punched out doing anything else. We get one of the greatest running backs in NFL history scrolling across the bottom, that Jim Brown has passed away.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know how his health was or anything. I'm not up and to do on Jim Brown's health. But when you say Jim Brown, first of all, you think of black and white, him running through everybody, the Browns, just being that running back. And I'm going to say this, prior to Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, that you say Jim Brown, and I'm still going to have, I don't think he's not my number one, but there's a fight to be made that he is overall the number one running back ever out of the NFL. Throw yards and all that shit away.
Yeah.
Just gameplay itself. He was amazing. And again, I didn't see him play live, but this is just something as a football fan or a sports fan, when you hear these names and you see these little, snippets on TV when they're talking about it, you're like, oh, and then you do that deep dive in. Listen, I think he would crush in today's NFL compared to what he did, because I don't think they're as physical as when he was playing. You had the big man slapping meat that would just crush you. That's what now you're not allowed doing all that. Jim Brown would just excel. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're going to be able to talk more on this, he left early, kind of like Barry Sanders, that he's like, I'm done playing football, peace the fuck out.
Yeah, I believe he left to pursue acting career, or just do, he's like, I fulfilled what I wanted to, and he left early. So it always left what if? What if he would have stayed another 7 years?
Another 10,000 yards on his docket. It's untouchable then.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely didn't play as many games because the schedule was shorter, if you want to look into all that. But listen, there is an argument that this is the number one running back ever to play in the NFL. And Jim Brown, again, passed away. I'll raise my beer to him. Go ahead, Jenks.
Yeah, I'll raise my drink to him as well. Arguably, you're right. He was arguably one of the greatest running backs to ever play in the NFL. And it's because he excelled in so many things and was basically the pioneer for what a running back would end up being. whether you talk about Tony Dorsett, Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, things of that nature, anybody that came after him, Jim Brown was one of the first and really the most recognizable that just led the way in running the football. He only lasted 8 years. He did everything he could. Think about this, Mark. 8 years. You mentioned it. He didn't play as many games as some of the players now. He had 12,000 yards rushing in 8 years. Can you imagine?
And again, less games again.
In less games. I think I'm trying to look up 12 to 14 games during that time span. So do your math on that. Playing 2 less games from, 3 less games now, 3 to 5 less games per season. That's amazing. That is unrecognizable. Jim Brown did it all. He did what he had to do. He went on the field. He excelled. And to your point, it was a time where it was essentially a prison fight on the field, if you will.
Good point.
They will shank you, beat the shit out of you, do cocaine off your back, and then go back and play the next play. That's just how the game was played back then.
Right.
And I got Mark to pop on that, but it's serious.
It wasn't 2-hand touch. It
was a 2-hand touch. People, they did drugs, came back out, and started hitting each other again. That's just the way it was. But he was so revolutionary in that fact. He really inspired, and you can ask any NFL running back since they are inspired or were inspired by Jim Brown. He lived a fantastic life, 87 years, and I think it said 90 days, I guess, according to Pro Football Reference. But yeah, 87 years old. He did amazing. I don't know where his health was like you over the past couple years, but I know he was getting around with a cane, but he was still getting around. So props to Jim Brown. And here's to you. I think also he had ties to the civil rights movement as well, so we can't overshadow that and his importance to that as well. So
right. I will say this, and I don't mean it just for the Browns, because I'm sure the Browns are already getting something in motion for that team, a number on a jersey or something.
Mm-hmm.
If the NFL, get ready because now we're going to start shitting on people. If the NFL does not do something across the board for this, shame on them.
I agree. I completely agree, because there should be a universal number patch or universal helmet sticker for the season or something that just honors them. Retire the number 32. If they haven't already, I don't know if it is already. I think it's just common courtesy to do that and just to acknowledge him and just say, listen, Jim Brown was one of the greatest, if not the greatest running back we've ever had. We need to honor him in some form or fashion. There's ways to do that. Name an award after him. Do something.
Yeah.
Just do something just to honor the man and his career and his life work.
That's one thing you said, retire the number across the board. And I know baseball has one. There should be more. There should be more. There should be a lot more. But I digress. NFL doesn't do that. Like, I think there is a couple numbers across the board that should be retired. Oh. And if we're going to start it, and I'm not saying this is going to come out ignorantly. If this is your first one, this is your first one. Because it means that much. Like you said, with just the way you played football and just him being a class act and the movement and all of that, what he did not only for football but humanity and everything, I will always say, and I'm not the biggest fan, but Roberto should also be 21 should be retired across the board as well, just like 42.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But just because of what Roberto did, so a la Roberto, his should be in baseball. Jim Brown should be in football. Listen, there's numbers you never see in football. Start letting running backs and players across the board be whatever numbers they are, because nobody cares about numbers anymore. And as I'm saying this about numbers, retire them. It's a different time now. If a running back wants to wear 2, let him wear 2. I don't care anymore because everything's so marketable. But back then, 32 meant Jim Brown. Retire it.
And I will go off that point. They did start letting NFL players do that
Right.
2 years to a point. Well, they've allowed them to wear number 0 now. Everybody can wear whatever number they want for the most part. I think there hasn't been really any.
I thought there was something with a lineman.
There might be something with a lineman.
Where a lineman wanted to wear his college number, which was like 9 or something. I believe it's the first round draft pick of the Steelers. It wore like a random number, and they're like, "Bro, you can't wear that in the NFL." Why?
That would be. There's probably something with the lineman. I know this past offseason they did allow the number 0. That wasn't allowed for when they did this whole. They just said you can't wear 0, you can't do 0. But now they have said, okay, everybody can wear 0 now. And I think it's like one person per team, or like it's special exceptions type thing.
One person per team. I don't want 6 zeros on the field.
Why not? It would be all, and then you just put the number 1 in front of it. $1 million, or $1 million team. Yeah, right.
0A,
0A, B. But yeah, it's starting to come up to that point. But I agree with you 100%. I don't remember or think there is any numbers from the NFL perspective that are retired right now. But you're right. Number 32 would be a hell of a way to start and a great way to start. So hopefully they move in that direction.
So, Superstar Billy Graham, Jim Brown, rest in peace. Thank you for all you've done in our lives. Awesome. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
How was your week?
Week has been decent. Not horrible, but decent. Rough day Wednesday. Mental health wise, but it was fine. Nothing too crazy went on. It was just one of those days you get down in the dumps and all that. I will say I did go to a class yesterday that was offered through work that helped with recommendations for dealing with depression and anxiety. So I thought that was really helpful. Just giving tips and tricks of how you can be supportive of those with mental illness and anxiety and depression, take care of yourself, whatnot. So I can read some of those if we want. I just got to dig out the notebook real quick. But if you want to tell us how your week's going, I'll go with that. Well,
no, I'm not going to tell you about my week because since we're on the mental health thing, I do have something I want to bring up. And mental illness can be invisible, okay? I have 3 things that just were brought to my attention. You can have anxiety but sound confident. You can have depression but smile and make jokes. You can feel suicidal, but still turn up at work every day and feel fine.
Yep.
So, again, we preach this to you guys. Check in on people that have that confidence, always making jokes, and appears to be happy-go-lucky with everything because they put on the best face.
Yeah.
We put on the best face. Put it that way. Because we are 2 peas in this pod that if it wasn't for this, both of us, this is a big release for both of us. And if it's, reaching out to somebody, doing this, doing that, make sure you're checking in. Again, NAMI.org, betterhealth.com, and the number is 988 if you need to call it or text it. There's somebody on that line at all the time. And again, if you'd like to, Can Crusher 69 is open and available. Any of our DMs, slide into them. We'll chit-chat with you. We want you to be in the nation as long as you possibly can. We love you. You deserve to be here. You're along with this ride as we are. Okay, you got your notes?
Yeah, I got my notes. Everything, completely agree with what Mark said. And I wanted to play off that real quick that you talked about. The people that hide it the most, with the jokes, with the laughter, they put a smile on their face. There was one, I think it was probably for medicine, for mental health, a long time ago, a commercial, but it always resounded with me, it stuck with me. It was about somebody that always put on a mask and had a mask and like behind them so that they could put on this happy mask, but below it, they were always sad, they were always drained, they're always just not fully there. So you're right. And people overcompensate for stuff a lot, and I could make a terrible joke, but I'm not going to go there right now. Yeah, I was going to make the terrible joke. Buying sports cars or souping up their trucks that compensate for something physically. But anyways, but people overcompensate. So self-deprecating jokes, making fun of things. I mean, I do it all the time, but I'm open with you guys and saying, you know, I recognize that I do have some symptoms. There's things I can overcome and I can get through and work through, thankfully. But, you know, some people just can't, but they'll make those jokes. They'll put a smile on your face. They'll, you know, be that people pleaser and just try to be helpful. So just be there for somebody. Let them know that you're there for them. That's part of the tips and tricks that I have here. So I'll go through those now for you guys and just have those, coming through. This class was led by Dr. Wendy Marsh, who is a psychiatrist, I believe, at UMass. And, they did it through one of our health sites that we have at work that we could sign up for and all that. But she gave tips and strategies for dealing with anxiety, how to care for somebody with anxiety. So I'll go through those first. You guys know a lot of the anxieties that are out there, whether it be, generalized anxiety. There's multiple worries. You're worried about every little thing, you know, overstressing about things. The OCD, PTSD, PPD, postpartum, you know, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder. Those type of activities really lead up to anxiety or aligned to anxiety. Strategies for dealing with your anxiety or being out there with it. She recommends, you know, your relaxation strategies, deep breaths, listening to your favorite music, just getting away. I think I talked a couple weeks ago about how I used to just escape in Abbey Road and the Beatles and that. So going to do that, exercise, healthy diet, or you know what, for me, throw those cookies in there. Get them Girl Scout cookies in there if you got to, which I found cheap ones that are made by the same exact company as Girl Scout cookies.
Cheap Girl Scout cookies?
So at Dollar General, the General, and now I'm going to go sidetrack. Dollar General sells generic Girl Scout cookies that are made by the same company that makes the actual Girl Scout cookies. They just make them during all year round and put them in Dollar General. So
somebody needs to go to the store after we're done.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I tore through a box of Samoas this week and I haven't looked back since. And there's Thin Mints in the freezer. So anyways, digressing back, let's go back. Good sleep hygiene. Just getting a good night's sleep if you can. You know, you're rolling your eyes, but hey, it's something that people can do. Being awareness and ID certain triggers that can lead to your anxiety, anticipating those before they come up or just trying to avoid them at all costs. Supportive friendships and therapy. Mark mentioned Can Crushers. We're all supportive here. We're supportive of our listeners. We're supportive of each other. Be supportive of your family, anybody in your life. Just be there for them. And contact a therapist if you need them for just tips and tricks on your own. Now, if you're someone that cares and loves for somebody with anxiety, validate their feelings. You know, help them with tips and strategies that we walked through just a moment ago.
Yeah.
Help them find a therapist, sympathize, and assume individuals have the best intent. Because usually when people have anxiety, there's sometimes that they might have a mood to them, or there might be a little bit of a temper, they might be on edge. Just understand that they have the best intent in mind, but it's not going to come across because you can't.
They've been triggered.
You've been triggered, and you can't really control those feelings at that time. So something to keep in mind when you have somebody that you love that's going through anxiety, having anxiety attack, trying to get through that. Depression, really how to care for somebody with depression, because a lot of the treatments out there really talk about therapy or medication and all that, just recognizing it. But just, again, offer validation and encouragement. Help them get moving. Just help them move around. Help them try to do something around the house. That's been one of the biggest things is, you know, maybe it's just something small that they can do, accomplish, and succeed at is enough. It's just enough to get the ball rolling. Just help them out. Because a lot of times with depression, you kind of just want to stay in your own, a little cocoon, just to hide away from the world and be in that hole. While it's understandable, just make sure you keep moving. Just walk the dog, take a walk outside, stand outside for 5 minutes, something.
Mine, I'll tell you mine to take a sidetrack. Mine was, as much as it's going to sound like you're not moving or anything, but it was mental with mine. Kel would play Call of the Wild. Go back Call of the Wild all the time. And she saw me just going down a hole. She's like, let's get a fox. She would sit in here when after Mom passed and I had my months of just, where is Mark's head? She's like, let's get a fox. So then there was a mission put into my head that I forgot why I was feeling the way I was feeling. So it should be physical. And listen, first and foremost, let me say this. We are not therapists. We're not. We're telling you guys what kind of works for us. So you guys might have to do something different, but this is what works for us. Give it a shot. If it works, amazing. Then we'll charge you. No, I'm kidding. But this is just things that work for us. Yeah. You should move. You're right. You should be up and walk the dog or go pick up sticks in your yard or something.
Right. But to your point, Mark, you're still moving. Call it wild. You're moving your hands. You're doing hand-eye coordination. You're trying to function. So it's distracting your mind and breaking your mind out of that slump. So it's getting the body at least moving somehow. So, yeah, I was talking about walking a dog or anything like that. But simply playing video games and just kind of engaging your mind can help do wonders. Live that reality. That can help as well. For me, when I was doing this, 2020, the pandemic did a lot of people in. And I knew I was feeling it. I knew I was hitting a lot of slumps throughout the summer. Bailey has done wonders for me. Just when I got her in July, I saw her. She looked like a dog from my childhood. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting that fucking dog. And sure enough, they called me, got her. She has done wonders. And she's the biggest goofball and foodie that I have ever dealt with in my whole entire life. But I love her for it. And it's just that because she recognizes she will be supportive. She'll be there. Any dog will do this, but they get you up because they got to go to the bathroom. They have basic needs and they'll paw at you and make you feel wanted. Even if they're just using you to get a treat, they will make you feel wanted. And that's a good thing.
That is a great thing.
Now, don't let anybody.
2 o'clock in the morning when you worked until 9 the night before, somebody's going to wake you up to go to the bathroom.
It happens.
They need to be out.
I mean, it takes away from the good sleep hygiene, but they got to go out when they got to go out, right? So, the last 2 things that they said here are 3 things. Foster social support. We talked about that a little bit. Encourage them to seek that help and just take care of themselves in general. Just take care of them. We talked about it. Just get a shower. Just eat.
Listen, a shower a day is great for your hygiene.
Yep.
But it also washes away other things. You can stand in that shower and just go, fuck, this is my time for however long. Kelly does it for an hour. I take 15-minute showers. Whatever. Yeah. It is just that cleansing of maybe just walking away from whatever's going on and standing in the shower and you're like, all right, I'm taking care of my body at least. And then, let me just do this. A shower is amazing.
Showers do wonder. I love a good shower. I will come home, even if it doesn't seem like you need one, just step in a shower because it's an escape from reality and a sort of, it's 20 minutes. You're just away. It takes your mind off of everything. And the water just kind of acts like a mini massager, just kind of trickling on your back, trickling on you just to relax you a little bit more. So small things can make the world of difference.
1 step a day is amazing. You should not just sit around all day and take 1 step, but you understand what I mean. Hey, I'm going to do the dishes today, and then I'm done. I'm going to do the dishes tomorrow and the laundry. Or it just, that little repetitive motion gets you out of whatever funk you're in.
Yes.
Add that 1% today, and then listen, in time, it's 1,000%.
Yeah, I completely agree. And over time, you're going to be up, moving, and you won't forget about it, but you'll always you'll never forget, but you'll just be doing things in that. She also made a comment, and I think a lot of people who have depression or anxiety know, all it takes is 1 episode, and the future ones are easier to get into. But don't let that deter you from going forward. Don't let it make it seem like it's a black hole of sorts. Just recognize that when you start getting into those symptoms or getting into there, reach out to somebody, talk to somebody. If you're in your own head, just take it 1 step at a time. If you're somebody that loves someone in depression or anxiety, just get them to do one thing. Just have them go do something and start small. Walks or playing video games, something that they enjoy. Build it up to chores, build it up to normal life activities, and eventually they will get back. So, yeah.
I will say this. Don't push.
Yes.
If day one is you just sitting with Mark, I'm going to use me. Day one is you just sitting with Mark.
Yeah.
If day two is Mark makes Sanka, by the way, has anybody had Sanka in the last fucking 15 years? I don't know why that even popped in my head. Wait a minute, don't answer that. If it's just having Sanka, it's a thing. It's just baby steps. All right. You understand where I'm going. This is going off kilter. Talk to me about Sanka because you fucking drink it, don't you?
No, I don't, because I don't know what that drink was. But the only Sanka I know is from Cool Runnings, where the guy's name is Sanka.
Oh, you don't know what Sanka is?
No, I've never heard of it.
That freeze-dried, it's freeze-dried coffee, essentially. You literally hot water and you stir the coffee in and it's coffee then.
No idea that was.
I don't even know if it's out on the market anymore. It's definitely an 80s thing, so you're going to look it up.
Well, of course I am, but go ahead and finish your point.
That's my thought. We're digressing. We're getting away. I do have two bits.
Sorry, it's still out there. By the way, it's on Amazon. You can get instant coffee, decaf, and all that stuff. Wait, before we get into anything wrestling related, how was your week? We didn't talk about your week.
Yeah, we didn't talk about my week.
Yeah.
People can refer to me as Aquaman now for the next little bit.
You said that before the show, but it still got me on that one.
He almost spit his drink, which is awesome. That made me pop. I made him pop, and he made him spitting. We're good. Long hours. And listen, I'm not bitching. This isn't Mark bitching this week. It's been a long hours. We have a couple people on vacation, so we're kind of just floating back and forth between here and there. It's been 12 hours. I'd go and do garbage for 2 hours and then 10 hours preparing our pool. And we didn't have a horrible winter, so I'm like, the pool should be all right.
Right.
Completely wrong. Because, our pool, clearly most pools I think do, the shallow end runs into the deep end, so the shallow end was very tidy.
Yeah.
Got to the deep end, and everything has and listen, there's been some hot days and everything, and I understand, but there's time-consuming things that just need to happen, and you have to wait until it happens. The deep end was like, I should have sandblasted it before I pressure washed it, because it was just so crusty, dirty.
Oh.
Normally, when I power wash, and I'm not shitting you guys, I power washed for 30 hours this week. So everybody that likes watching the new app where you can play power wash your car, your house, and everything because it's so satisfying, I was one of those people. And I probably say this every year. My fucking arms and not my elbows, my shoulders, jello now because a power washer's got 1 million pounds of pressure. I don't know how much. I don't care. Don't come at me. 1 million pounds of pressure coming out of the schnozzle, and it just gets you. Day one, I have the headphones in, and I'm bumping and grinding. I'm singing Tay-Tay. I'm doing everything I possibly can. Day two, I'm slowing down, and I'm like, okay, today, when I was doing it, I'm singing Seasons in the Sun because I'm ready just to wrap it up. Just take me away. Hate me. Everything needed to be get through the day.
Well, now you guys play Take Me Away the next time you do this. Take me away. I think it's Kylie Minogue or whatever it is.
It's not going to be until next May.
Just write it down.
It's done. It's ready for water to be added tomorrow, and we go from there. It takes 4 days to fill this 275,000 gallon pool.
Wow.
And then next week next Friday, I start throwing in all the chemicals and do all that cool stuff. So it's because they're opening on the 3rd. Okay? The 3rd. You don't want to fill it too soon because there's money involved. Chemicals cost a shit ton of money.
Right.
You can't really push it to do all this in a week because you have to send your water sample in, and sometimes that takes like 2 days to get back. And if you don't pass your water sample with the government, you ain't opening. So there's like a buffer of like a day and a half to 2 days where it's just going to run and nobody's going to be in it. And essentially you're losing money. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows how to pool, you lose money anyway. You lose money. Oh, no.
Is it raining?
It's raining in Arkansas. We might have to be switching games.
Come on, Arkansas. Pull it together.
Right. But, yeah, which kind of sidetracked me. There was a couple baseball games, softball games that I just couldn't do because, listen, they know that work in the community pool all comes first. That has to be done. It's my main job. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, overall, good week.
Yeah, that's good.
Little bummed that, yes, you called me out last night, whatever night, that High Ground Professional Wrestling didn't put me on the prelim poster.
I was very disappointed. I was heartbroken for you. That's how sad I was. I mean, why wouldn't they put you on the poster?
Talk to people about that and get that switched up. But
I mean, they better make it up with you just being the entire poster.
They should.
The July one should be Mark's Rising, and it'd be you riding on an eagle for the 4th of July. It would be beautiful, patriotic.
Would be. That would be amazing.
Fireworks shooting off in the background would be fantastic. Look at that, Mark Rising.
They'll probably do that for July. I would bet. Donnie Bambino has some pull for me because he's kind of my heavy. Nathaniel Cunningham, my boys, the Bad Fellas. Shelby, come on. You guys just have to make this work.
I'm waiting for the day you just become a manager and just have a stable of people be your heavy and be this just unbelievable heel man just running rickshaw over everybody over there.
Over High Ground?
Over High Ground. I just want to see this. It just turns out you have this whole stable growing and you just take over the entire company at some point. What a storyline.
Like fucking great storyline.
What a storyline.
We should definitely, that needs to happen. I have a couple of people that I would like to get right now thinking of it, but I can't let it out there. I can't,
Well, you can't let your devious plans out there. I mean, the world's got to stop you somehow. So you got to prevent the world from knowing so you can make it happen.
So make it to High Ground. June 10th. It's in Mayfield again.
Watch Mark's takeover.
Yeah. It's starting. It's starting in June. We just didn't want anybody to know. I do have two things.
Okay.
One, June 10th is going to be Ask Can Crushers. So that's perfect. That's when High Ground is. So you have until June 8th to get your questions in. However you want to. Via cancrushers69@gmail.com or drop them in our, our DMs.
No.
Fine and dandy. 2, combined video games. Did you see NCAA? Again, not until next July. You are getting likenesses and real people for NCAA football.
I did see that.
Stoked about that.
I'm excited about it. They basically said it would be an NIL deal when they do it. I'm pumped. I think a lot of kids are going to sign up for that shit and go for it.
You'd be an idiot not to.
Hell yeah. And
I'm being a Pitt Panther season ticket holders. I want my pitcher in the game. I'll sign an NIL deal right now. Every time you go to Acrisure Stadium, I am there.
Wow, you actually named everybody.
Fucking fans would sign up on this.
Oh,
EA would make gajillions of dollars because there's a lot of idiots like me that would sign the deal.
I completely agree. Also, I'm very proud of you. You actually said the actual name of the stadium and not referred to Heinz Field, so very props to that. But, oh my God, every fucking fan would do. I would do it. Hell, why not? Get your face in there.
Get Kelly out. You could be sitting next to me.
Right. If they take pictures for it, we'd be there in the Can Crushers apparel. Free advertising. Just
right.
Saying. It's like a billboard in a 1,000,000 copy game that would go out.
And we would be at Acrisure and whatever Oregon Stadium is.
Oh, yeah, we would be.
We would never go to Alabama, though.
No, we'd be in Autzen. Fuck Alabama. Fuck Tuscaloosa. We'd be in Autzen. We'd be in actually Heinz Field.
Sure.
I'm not even going to try to fucking say it. Never going to Alabama. Never going to Arkansas because it fucking rains there and ruining softball.
Oh, yeah.
So bunch of bullshit that is. We love you guys in Arkansas if you're listening from there, but
not right now, though.
Yeah, get your weather under control.
I'm switching to Prairie View and LSU. I'm sorry.
Well, they just put 3-on-1 on this one. So they got Clemson, Utah. Well, I don't know where they're playing right now, actually. We got LSU, and it's gone.
LSU.
Oh, that was fun.
7-1, LSU.
I was assuming Prairie View was up 7-1. How's that not happening? Oh, Charlotte and Campbell is going to be the game we're going to here. Wherever the hell Campbell is. Campbell lost, so Charlotte beat Campbell. Glad.
The other thing.
Yeah, what's the other game thing?
June 27th. There's a date out there now for Fight Never. Forever. Whatever the AEW game is. There is a date. It is the Tuesday, and it makes sense now, the Tuesday after Forbidden Door.
I'll believe it when I see an official
announcement. I said the same fucking thing.
I will not believe that until there's an official announcement.
Yep.
I would love it, but until there's an official announcement, I want nothing to do with it.
And unless they're giving away the house, I'm going to be that guy and not pre-ordering it. You've pissed me off that much.
Agreed.
I'll wait until the 28th to buy it, motherfuckers.
Yeah, on principle. I will wait a day. Can we talk a little bit? I have something pulled up because I want to get your reaction because I don't think you've seen this yet because it just came out a little bit ago, 4 hours ago.
By the way, wrestling is going to be short this week, guys. So.
It is going to be short this week. These are wrestling-related topics, I think.
Okay.
Although I lost the one. Oh, yeah. Wrestling-related topics. I want your opinion on the AEW Collision logo that is pretty much the Nitro logo from the 90s.
Listen, when a show like that is that epic, and I don't think there's rights to it anymore, right? The rights to that kind of brand logo is off the wall.
That was gonna be my question is, wouldn't there be rights to that logo? I mean,
a timetable in between there, right? The WWE say, nobody's going to want to fucking do this again.
Well, and that could be that the trademark is gone. I mean, think about it. They did a lot of NXT shows just so they could use up WCW names so nobody else could use them.
Right.
So if they didn't renew the logos, because why would we use a Nitro logo? I guess AEW Collision can go forward and prosper. I mean,
I love it, by the way. Absolutely love it.
I love it too, but I was just like, is this going to be a lawsuit thing and we're just going to have an extra topic to talk about on Can Crushers when this comes down? But I guess they're not doing anything because it would have been quick turnaround. It would have happened.
It came out the second that they dropped that logo.
Yeah. It would have been out that night. So kudos to them. I love the logo. How are you committing to another 2 hours of live wrestling a week?
Again, the downfall is, listen, here's Mark on his fucking pedestal. We've been saying 6:05 on a Saturday. I don't know how it's going to go at 8 to 10 on a Saturday. Listen, there's youngsters. Your demographic, drink beer and party Saturday nights.
Yeah.
That I am in the demo. I really am. And you're in it too. Right. I'll watch it because I am a homely old man. The downfall is there's big Saturday football games.
Yes.
You're going to take a hit. And we should have thought about that. You're going to take a hit from September to November.
Yeah. And you're taking a hit even through when there's pay-per-views coming through for UFC. There's pre-fights that people are they'll go watch the pre-fights. They'll go somewhere and watch those before the actual UFC card. or you're talking about even boxing's not as prevalent as it used to be, but there's still boxing fights that people are going to look at. Saturday nights is not a good night for people. There's a reason why Saturday nights is not for new television to debut or television series to run weekly episodic TV shows. Because the demographics not there because people are doing other things. There's weddings, there's things going on in people's lives, bar mitzvahs, barbecues, you name it, you got it. It's happening Saturday nights because people aren't going to do it Sunday. They need Sunday to recover.
Right.
I think it also pretty much locks into place that Sunday pay-per-views are now a mainstay, and
for AEW,
and that's a hard pill to swallow, I think, for a lot of people, unless it falls on a holiday weekend.
And
which
it's
only
a harder pill to swallow for garbage men.
Exactly, because they don't get those holidays. So it's going to be a rough one. I mean, we'll still watch it, obviously, but it'll be interesting to see how this goes going forward and what happens to it once we get into basketball, hockey, all these seasons. You were talking about ratings and going up against the big games. The World Series. How does it affect when we start getting back to basketball season on TNT, and that impacts what time they get rolled out? TNT, TBS, they all do these things.
What they're doing with Rampage. Like Rampage, as we're recording, Rampage is on right now. Are we watching it? No. One, we're recording and we're watching NCAA softball.
Right. It's exactly it.
Unless it's you can't make it a pay-per-view quality show every week. The first one clearly is going to be, folks. Spoiler. To happen.
The first month will be to get the viewers in, and then after that, it's going to be, we'll see what happens.
I'm not saying that maybe, listen, it's a different era from when I watched 605 with my grandpa and everything. I still think it would have been better to go early on a Saturday night.
Yeah. 6 o'clock, 6 to 8. Perfect time. People are sitting down for dinner. They're just trying to unwind from the day.
Could hook them from going out.
You could.
Now, what are you going to do to hook them from going out? We go out. I go out at like 7 o'clock.
Exactly. You go out for a few hours and come back because we're old and we want to be back by 10.
Right.
That's just the way it goes.
You haven't been out for a while, so.
Neither have I on a Saturday, to be honest. But,
listen, right now, as you're listening to this, if it's 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night, because this is when you listen to the podcast, I'm playing baseball or something right now. That's it.
Yep.
That's my day.
Right now, I'm probably driving whenever you're listening. If you're listening to Saturday night, I'm driving back from Meadville. If it's during the day, I'm just hanging out with the girlfriend. That's all I'm doing. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the way it is. But.
So we hampered for wrestling on Saturday for the longest time, but now we're being two old men going, it's not going to fucking work.
It doesn't fit our schedules. How can we make this work? It's clashing with Live PD on Patrol Live. I'm not happy about this. I get it. I get that on Peacock, but come on, guys. Rude. Anyways.
Well, to boot, WWE has all their pay-per-views on Saturdays now.
Exactly. So I think that's another reason. And you're going to see now, you're going to get pay-per-view style quality for the AEW Collision shows when there's a WWE pay-per-view going on. Probably not the Saudi shows because those are at 1. It doesn't really matter at that point. But the night ones, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of pay-per-view quality matches going on. And maybe that's what they were pushing for at that point.
I want to see when Survivor Series would be, not Survivor Series, SummerSlam will be the first head-to-head then, essentially.
What about Money in the Bank? Oh, no, because that's in England, so you're right. It would be SummerSlam. You're right. Yeah. Yep. So Detroit, SummerSlam.
Then Collision.
Now, yeah, we'll have to see. There's going to be a collision of sorts at SummerSlam.
There will be a collision of sorts at SummerSlam. Then that'll probably be the title.
Yeah, it will be. All right. Moving on. I got one more thing to talk about.
All right. I'm going to take one more drink as you talk.
Deal for it. About 5 hours ago as we were recording, you guys have probably seen this list because it's out for you guys now. But WWE on Fox released the 10 greatest premium live events since 2000, according to ChatGPT. So
who the fuck is that?
The AI that you can just submit anything to, they tell you a bunch of shit and whatnot.
Okay.
All right. So I want to get your reaction to it.
I was going to say, don't make me make a list. But
no, I don't want you to make a list. I just want to get your reaction to it. I will say there's NXT takeovers on this list. So NXT takeovers are included. If we want to look at timestamps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them come from the 2010s and 4 from the 2000s. Nothing from the 2020s was on this list. So imagine that. COVID really fucked that over. But anyways, I digress. Let's start from the bottom up. Number 10, WrestleMania 31, 2015. So remember, Seth, the heist of the century, the greatest RKO to ever take place. Wyatt Undertaker. I thought it would have been higher too, but they have it at number 10. Oh, Sting and Triple H was that night as well. Number 9. And I had to pull up the NXT cards. I remember the one up later in the list, but this one I had to pull up just for a reminder. NXT TakeOver New Orleans 2018. As a reminder, here's what's on this card. The North American Championship ladder match with Adam Cole, EC3, Velveteen Dream, Ricochet, Lars Sullivan, Killian Dane. That was an absolute banger.
Yep.
Undisputed Era versus Roderick Strong, Pete Dunne, Authors of Pain, when Strong joins the Undisputed Era. Andrade versus Aleister Black for the NXT title. That was a fantastic match.
This list is going to piss me off because it's going to go downhill.
All right. I also want to mention there was a couple other matches, but this one in particular, this was the unsanctioned match between Gargano and Ciampa that absolutely tore the house down, literally and figuratively. But I digress. Number 8, Survivor Series 2002, the introduction of the Elimination Chamber. You also had that triple threat tag match with the Guerreros, Benoit and Angle, and Edge and Rey Mysterio, so that was fantastic.
Okay, because it was all of that you just said in the introduction of when you said Survivor Series, I rolled my eyes.
I know.
But listen, history and remembering things, not Mark's forte. So, okay on the list.
This was still in that era of Survivor Series where it actually meant something,
right? And
it was still popping out some great pay-per-views after a while. Number 7, WrestleMania 24, 2008. 6-man ladder match. Punk's first Money in the Bank winner. Undertaker and Edge was the main event. So they went that route for that one.
I'm shocked it's on there because of Punk. I'll leave it at that.
I am too, but again, this is based on ChatGPT, not a WWE source. So
Okay.
They got to go with it. Number 6. Thought this might have been higher, but I guess I can see why it's not. But Royal Rumble 2000. So we're talking Mankind, Triple H in the street fight, Taz's debut. There's a triple threat for the title. Rock's Royal Rumble win was this one.
This should have been higher. Listen, you hear us gush about the Royal Rumble each and every year.
Right.
I would push this much farther, but.
Well, and here's an interesting fact. That is the only Royal Rumble on this top 10 list. So.
What? Okay.
Yeah. So, 6 through 10. Any shockers? We were talking about it a little bit, but any shockers, anything pop out to you with that?
Listen, WWE, and I know this is not a WWE list, but I will still kind of put it to there. The heist is one of the biggest things that we've talked about for so long and will continue to be talked about. The greatest heist in professional wrestling. I'm shocked that this isn't top 5. The other ones all fit. It's us pushing for Royal Rumble to be number 1 because we're those guys. But I'm shocked that the heist isn't at least in the top 5.
Agreed. And I would have put Royal Rumble 2001 on this list based on the ladder match, the tag team title match between Edge and Christian and the Dudleys, the actual Rumble match, which was by far one of my favorites, probably if not the favorite I've ever seen, plus the world title match with Triple H and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
That should have been on this list. I digress. Okay, number 5, WrestleMania 30, 2014. So we're talking here the Wyatt Cena match. Trying to remember Miracle on Bourbon Street, Daniel Bryan's title victories, his win over Triple H, plethora of other things that happened. That Shield winning the 6-man tag. I don't know if I would have it this high.
That high, yeah.
I wouldn't have it above 31
right now.
Yeah, I would not have it above 31. I thought 31 was way better.
Yeah.
So number 4, SummerSlam 2013, and this was in the height of Punk's title run. I think it was a triple threat with him, Cena and Big Show involved in that. Missing on a couple other things that happened that night, but SummerSlam 2013 was on this list.
Again, maybe too high for this.
I don't think it's top 10.
No.
I think there's plenty of other SummerSlams they could have even chosen from 01, 2002. Both were fantastic pay-per-views. 2000, if you want to throw that one in there. There were some later ones that were even better than I think 2013 was, but yeah. So SummerSlam 2013, number 4.
I told you I'm going to get pissed off at this list because it's going to get worse as it goes down.
Number 3, TakeOver Brooklyn 2015. Bayley, Sasha, the whole kit and caboodle, guys. This was easily top 3. You had Deuce and Liger versus Breeze, KO versus Balor. Top 3 easily.
Top 3 easily. With this fucking list, it probably should be number 1, but okay.
With this list, I don't think hold your breath on that. So number 2, Money in the Bank 2011.
When Otis,
yeah, not with Otis. This was Punk, the crowning of Punk. Punk Cena, the summer of Punk.
This is a big Punk list. This is
huge Punk list.
This is a Punk list.
This is a huge Punk list. This is Daniel Bryan's Money in the Bank win. Del Rio won that night. The whole thing.
This one. As I'm rattling through my brain right now.
Yeah.
It takes a minute to get there, but I do like this one. Okay. All right.
Height of Christian and Orton. That was it was a good pay-per-view. Underrated, I think, in a lot of people's minds. Number 1, this should be absolutely no surprise to anybody. You could probably guess it right now. WrestleMania 17, 2001. That it's the greatest pay-per-view of all time, and I think that's just universally known. So the fact that it made number 1 on this list was not surprising. Whatever.
I would still be the guy who I would switch 2 and 3. I like them both. I would switch 2 and 3.
I would agree with you. I'd also replace 2013 SummerSlam with one of the other SummerSlams because I think there's a ton of better ones.
I'm telling you, I'm bringing the heist down. I'm bringing that is one of the greatest moments in professional wrestling. I would bring that. It's way too low.
The heist alone, listen, WrestleMania 31 is one of the only WrestleManias that I rewatched the very next day because it was so good. Heist alone elevates it to top 5.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, top 3, because I put Brooklyn at 2, 17 at 1, and that's how that top 3 list would go for me. But yeah, so that was.
I'm not as pissed as I thought I was going to be.
Yeah, it kind of rebounded at the end because it kind of leveled out with
middle.
Great, like, middle got a little funky. Yeah, middle was a little fucked up, but yeah. So that was the list that was just released, but nothing too crazy on that list. So.
No. All slightly deserving. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Slightly deserving. A lot long there. We could switch some out. But overall, it's a B+ list. I'll put it that way.
Okay. That's fair. Is there any on the top of your head you would add to that list right now? You don't have to say, you can say I can't think of any right now, but.
And bring it back after the break.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me think as we go to break and do all the nonsense because we have bills to pay. Collar and Elbow hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that else known as hooligans have at Collar and Elbow. Buy the stuff. What's the promo code?
It's Can Crushers, I believe. 69.
No 69. No 69.
I just want to throw that out there just to throw people off. But Can Crushers, all one word.
Can, capital C, and Crushers. We've said it enough that Ask Can Crushers is coming up on June 10th, so get your shit in by June 8th. You can email us, cancrusher69@gmail.com. Drop us a DM on what socials, Jenks?
Oh my God, I think Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we have them all. Drop them. Farmers only, UFOs, UFOladies.com. We have it all. Don't worry about it. Birds are spies. Birds are drones. We're out there, and you can listen to us anywhere. There's plethora. I mean, Google, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're there. We're there in your ear holes, guys.
Just drilling more holes in your
drilling. We're just drilling into your head. Wrestling knowledge left and right.
Here comes Al to tell you about Collar and Elbow. We'll be back to talk about this week's wrestling. Holy shit!
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey, it's Ruthie J, the hottest prospect in South Florida, the gold standard, and you're watching Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Can Crushers. I got my answer. Jenks is perplexed because we talked a little bit about it during the break. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You want me? Let me tell you where it happened.
That might give it away.
It damn near should. Seattle.
Oh, that's a deep cut. I like that one. WrestleMania 19.
Yeah.
Yep.
WrestleMania 19, I think, at least, we talked about a couple that we didn't like, but WrestleMania 19, listen, this was main event, Brock defeated Angle. Okay?
Yeah, yep.
The Rock against Stone Cold.
The third time, the retirement match.
Right. It was what it was. Hogan against McMahon in the street fight.
Hey, it was spectacle, bloody, and it was entertaining as hell.
Triple H defeats Booker T.
Always hated that ending, but yeah, that was a good match.
HBK against Jericho.
Fantastic match.
You have Team Angle defeats Benoit, Rhino, and Los Guerreros.
Not a bad triple threat. Not as good as the Survivor Series one before that. Also, I'm surprised you didn't mention Undertaker versus Big Show and A-Train as one of the premier matches on that card.
Right. Trish against Victoria and Matt Hardy against Mysterio. Okay.
Yeah, that was decent.
That was a quick match, though.
It was very quick. Yeah.
And the opener was Chief Morley and Lance Storm against the Dudleys. With the Dudleys against Kane and RVD, I mean.
Oh, God, I forgot about that match.
Yeah. Right. Right. But the 3-4 matches of Brock and Angle, The Rock and Stone Cold retirement, Hogan, McMahon, and as much as we hated the way that Triple H Booker T ended, and then HBK and Jericho. Listen, it took me a minute. But I knew there was something out there that it could be on. There could be 10. There could be 10 on the list. Get rid of something else, but
I'm remiss, and I think our fans were yelling at us, possibly thinking back to WrestleMania 24. That was Ric Flair's retirement match. So the HBK, and I did not give that any props during that whole thing because I totally forgot about it. But WrestleMania 19, very criminally underrated. Nobody really thinks about that one too much. And Jericho versus HBK was their first match, I think, against each other outside of the Chamber now. Their first one-on-one match. Absolutely phenomenal. They had great chemistry always together. So, great. That was a good pick.
Yeah.
I like that.
Luck pick. All right. Since we're essentially, it's 12-1 in the bottom of the third. This is going to be a 10-run roll. Prairie Review, thanks for showing up.
It's that, Prairie View. I got South Carolina UCF going on right now. Let's see what happens here.
Drilled a triple. All right. SmackDown last week. We haven't been giving a lot of love to SmackDown recently. We were like, oh, it's a filler show. Oh, it's a show before the pay-per-view. We didn't talk about it at all. So let's give something to SmackDown. Because listen, it was very tournament heavy.
It was.
You talked about it was Edge, AJ, and Ray. Probably the match of the night for me, if you're going to say it.
Yeah.
3 faces in the match. I'm shocked that they threw these 3 together. Fuck, it worked, though. It worked. It really did. I still don't know where they're going with AJ. I still don't understand why we're getting somebody from SmackDown. And we're going to talk about Rollins here in a minute when we shift over to Raw. But what in the MF?
I don't know. I'm glad they gave it to us. This is a great opening match. I still don't understand the triple threat aspect of the tournament, why they're doing triple threat matches, but that is what it is, and I don't need to concern. I also don't know why they're doing them all in one night, but whatever.
Right.
This was this was a great match. All 3 of these guys, obviously, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, this would have been complete, absolute banger of a match. Still fantastic, still great storytellers going on in this. A lot of beauty. I don't know what's going on with Styles. I don't understand it. There's rumors now that Seth might be taking time off because of TV projects. Because, guys, he's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now. If you haven't seen it. So, if Seth's gone, he ain't the world champion. So, is AJ the world champion now? What's the odds? What's the betting odds here? Why are we doing this? A lot of unknown here. It was a great match.
Yeah.
Give it props.
Essentially gave away the winner of the whole thing, which is good.
Yeah.
Fine and dandy. AJ takes next match was Sheamus against Bob against Austin. We almost saw this match a million times. Take Sheamus out and put Reed in. Take Sheamus out and put me or you in.
Plug and play.
Yeah.
Plug and play, yeah.
This was about Bob and Austin, essentially, this whole match. And it continued to get somebody to face AJ. That's all.
For Bob and Austin, where's the blowout for this? Because this has been a year-long, it's at least 6 months, because it's been since Survivor Series at least, and you had to have the build before that. What's the payoff here? What are we doing with these two? Because multiple triple threat matches are crossing paths with each other. It just seems...
switched the title a couple times. I mean...
Yeah. They haven't switched it since Survivor Series when Fury won it. But yeah, exactly. They flip-flopped the title a couple times. So what's our end game with these two? Is it just they're just two star-crossed people that just keep lovers? I was going to say lover. I tried to change the word from lovers, but they're just two star-crossed lovers just kind of always crossing paths and in each other's way and all that stuff. I don't know.
I don't either. Fast forward, again, AJ versus Bob at the end. The OC comes out and celebrates with AJ as he picks up the win. My caveat in this is, beginning of the show, Grayson Waller says, I'm going to have the winner of this on the Waller effect next week. So that's what you guys have already watched, and we're not going to talk about it today. We'll talk about it next week. Does he take out AJ? I mean, granted, he is also a SmackDown wrestler himself.
Right.
But do we get Seth and Waller?
Maybe. Or maybe Waller gets under AJ's skin enough to force a win and go in match where it becomes a triple threat to kind of swerve the crowd and all that. Like it becomes Waller, AJ, and Seth and Saudi.
I keep saying this. Tell me how this title isn't going to end up on SmackDown.
I don't know.
Especially with Seth doing movie shit.
Yeah. It's going to end up there. There's no way around it. I think they're booking themselves into a corner with it. Unless they're going to say AJ's working double or Grayson's working 2 shows. But at that point, it's like, what? What was the point of even if it's Grayson, what was the point of even drafting him to SmackDown at that point?
Do we have somebody, and this is really looking ahead until Monday, is Seth taken out and we have somebody else filling in for Seth? Like somebody? I mean, I don't know. These are all thoughts now. How do we get this title on Raw? If it's Seth and Seth is all in, okay, that's clearly his title. We're going to jump back and forth. Seth and Corey sat down on Raw this week, and he's like, it's time for a change. There's things to be done. It's the universe is pushing me, and tell me he's not a movie star.
Yeah.
Tell me he's not a movie star.
He is. He is larger than life. That's the name of the game. Seth Rollins has created a persona that has forced him to be larger than life and larger than what professional wrestling is. So he's taking the next step to that by doing this. He's a born entertainer.
Which essentially every, and I'm not saying every, before any stars or anybody else jumps on me, but superstars in the form of John Cena, The Rock, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, whatever. They get into wrestling to get into Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to Seth. Good. I'm happy for him. But I don't see the writing on the wall that this is going to Seth.
I completely agree. And let me ask you this. And I want to go off of this and say, are these leaks happening? They seem to happen conveniently to throw wrenches in predictability. And in the case of this one, obviously it's thrown to say, well, if Seth is going to be in Hollywood, then maybe AJ wins it. Is this WWE's new way of going and kind of keeping kayfabe alive, but kind of not, and saying, we need to put doubt in people's minds that Seth could automatically win this. So let's say he's going to be off TV for a while. Because they did it last year every month with Roman. Roman was going to have a limited contract, and he does. But then there was rumors, oh, he's taking a few months off. Oh, he won't be here for a few months. And sometimes he did that, and sometimes he showed up and he defended the title. So he was there. He was there more often. Is this just to cast the doubt in people's minds because social media has taken that ability away from just keeping kayfabe alive? Is this the next step of we need to push out our own propaganda to kind of throw the scent off of what's actually going to happen in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved how you wrapped that up in a nice bow. I will say this, my prediction. Take it to the bank for next week. Seth Rollins will be your first whatever fucking championship this is called. It will be a short reign. It will be an extremely short reign.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the next night or whatever. It will be shorter than you think. This title, now in my head, is for Gunther. He will take it from Seth and run with it for a while.
I'll buy that because we're starting to get the Imperium KO Sammy storyline building up. This isn't going to be just for the tag team titles, guys. I think probably KO and Gunther is going to be a SummerSlam Intercontinental title match where Sammy and KO have already lost the titles probably to Imperium, and now KO is shooting for Gunther. Gunther defends the title. Maybe it's even at Money in the Bank. Gunther loses the Intercontinental title to KO, formidable opponent. It makes sense. Ends a long title reign. Puts him in position to either A, win Money in the Bank later that night, find a way into that, or B, he's going to SummerSlam and he's SummerSlam at Seth, or it's him and Seth or something like that. Next 2 months next month and a half could be very interesting with how the Intercontinental title goes, how that whole thing gets situated, and then what the fallout will be from it.
So, on that note, we had an Intercontinental. Again, we're just smashing everything together.
Yeah.
WWE is not just SmackDown.
SmackDown, Raw.
Yeah. We had an Intercontinental Battle Royal. I'm not buying that Ali's beating him.
Well, I was shocked as hell as Ali freaking won the thing, first of all. I don't buy.
I thought it was good. I wanted to see a banger between him and Bronson.
I did too. But we got Ali. And, hey, I'll give props to that finish of the match. That was beautifully done.
Yeah.
For the Battle Royal. Love that finish. I kind of stood up because I was like, Ali's got a title shot, nonetheless, in Saudi Arabia. Holy shit.
Maybe
KO and Sammy, they got their own things going on. Maybe somebody screws up. Maybe Riddle, because Riddle's been fucking with them for a little bit. But
he should have been fired.
I can't agree with that. But
yeah, I mean, you screw Gunther at Saudi Arabia, there is a rocket strapped to his ass.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking, I'm thinking Seth wins it, and then at Money in the Bank, Gunther has that title shot.
Well,
he's not in the Money in the Bank. He's the champ.
That's fair. It's in the UK. What better play? That's pretty much homeland. I don't want to say homeland, but it's home.
WWE doesn't do that. We're booking it wrong.
We are. Where are we? Maybe we're not. Who knows? I like your thinking. Gunther takes it in the UK.
They just don't want to put it on it right up. Listen, Gunther's not the face of WWE, and I don't mean that ignorantly whatsoever. Everybody loves him. It's Seth, it's Roman, it's Cody, it's Brock, there's those faces. Gunther's not to that level yet. But this would be his first, air quotes, fucking world title. And that's where the rocket comes. And then he is propelled into that next level that he holds it for a while. And I'm all right with that.
I think this is a long rivalry with him and Seth. I still go back to what I said earlier this year. Gunther could be the Royal Rumble winner of next year and challenge anybody for the title. So to your point, he keeps it for several months, maybe loses it in December, loses it sometime later this year. Survivor Series, something like that. And then all of a sudden, he's wide open for that Royal Rumble victory because he's already had it strapped to his ass. The rocket's there, and it's ready to go. It's already
started in the Royal Rumble.
Rocket started in the Rumble, but also it has really kept lit over the past several months of how he's defending the Intercontinental title and brought prestige back to the Intercontinental title. Now that that's restored, it's on its way. He's on his way.
Behind him.
People are absolutely behind him.
He's vicious. He's vile. But people want that. People want somebody like that you can root for.
Yep, exactly.
He'll always be classified heel, but we love him.
We do love him, and people love it.
So you brought up that Sammy and KO are going to lose probably to Imperium. Well, they have to get through, because the Bloodline came out on SmackDown.
I know.
They have to get through Solo and Roman, who now Roman wants tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the fucking implosion.
It's smelling like it's going to happen in Saudi, because I have a feeling over the next 2 weeks, and you guys probably will know if it happens on SmackDown last night, the Usos are going to end up being banned from the ringside, or Roman's going to give an order that says you guys cannot come down and help in some form or fashion. They're going to come down anyways. They're going to cost Solo's going to get pinned because it's not going to be Roman.
Ooh,
right. And then it's going to all go to shit in Saudi. So it went like 0 to 60 like that.
It really did.
Because I thought we would have had like maybe a month or two more of Solo and the Usos kind of playing off of each other. Nope, we're going full throttle now.
We're ending this. I think it's culminated at SummerSlam.
I think it is. I think Money in the Bank, it's the Usos versus Solo and Roman. I really do feel like it's a Jay Roman SummerSlam feel right now, because Jay has always been the one on the fence.
It's how it started.
It's how it started. Perfect circle to bring it back to how it ended. And that'll be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, I will predict that Solo goes with his brothers, and then Roman will probably have to defend against Solo one time.
I don't know if he defends against Solo. I could see him going with his brothers, but I don't know if he defends against it. I think it ends up being Roman versus that whole Uso pact with Solo. So then it's very plausible Roman could drop the title to Jay at SummerSlam.
That fucking be iconic.
That would be amazing.
What is this? 3-year storyline, essentially, right?
Oh, yeah. 3 years, 2020, 2021, 2020. Yeah. 3-year fucking storyline. Culminates.
Never there.
Yeah.
Do you smell?
No.
You smell nothing. Nothing.
Not in Detroit.
Not in Detroit. Liv and Raquel have a match against Bayley and Dakota. We thought maybe implosion. Listen, I love all three of them. They're making Damage Control a huge joke now. Like, I don't even see the way that people are getting involved. The match with Io and Bianca, she was at least tugging on her hair or whatever. What happened that Bayley got pinned?
I have no idea.
Completely have no clue, and then Io's crying on the outside, but looking pissed. Just break them up. Just fucking break them up, because one likes color blue and the other two don't. I don't care at this point.
Is it? I got nothing. I have no words, because it was a mismatch that happened. We knew there was no way Kai and Bayley were winning this. We thought it should have been the turn there. Like, what are they waiting for? Like, I feel like there's a turn coming, or is Bayley gonna just pull two random people out of her hat and replace blame Dakota and her? I don't know.
Her and Dakota are best friends now. It's only going to be Io, I think. That's it is just Bayley and Io going at it, because Dakota this pisses me off, because they kind of did it with her and Raquel a little bit. They're making Dakota look like the goof, the oof, what was the big fat stooge? Curly.
Curly, yeah.
Old school reference, kids. Sorry. They're making Dakota look like Curly of the Three Stooges, the one that's got no brains and no fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah. Doesn't see.
That pisses me off, because, listen, I know everybody loves Io. They just still don't give it to Dakota, and I think she's got some great talent. You saw a little bit in NXT, and they pulled it right out from her.
Mm-hmm. And then you saw a little bit with that Bianca match. It came back out. But they're just not letting her spread her wings, if you will. They're holding her back for some reason, and I don't know why.
Yeah. It's pissing me off. You can tell.
I can't tell.
Pretty Deadly in the Brawlers, or the Brutes, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. I'm a high school child once in a while. I really love that.
I did too. I laughed. Pretty Deadly is probably going to become one of my favorite tag teams here very quickly.
Really quickly.
I kind of wish I would have watched NXT more to see more of what they are up to in their shenanigans, but hey.
And there's reports that Bianca almost really got hurt during her celebration. What? She came out, she said hi, she got spit on, and that was it. What? How could she have possibly gotten hurt?
Maybe it was during the excessive flopping for the fucking mist spray, because I'm sorry. That cell job was a little too much for that. It was way overboard. I don't know how she almost got hurt. Maybe they had to call an audible at that point. Maybe there was something that happened at the beginning and they were like, oh, we can't do whatever the hell we were going to do. So, because it just seemed odd that Asuka just walks out and spits at her. I don't know. Missed her. I don't.
And listen, I know wrestling reality. We need to suspend them every once in a while. Asuka, this isn't a bad joke, so to get it out of your head, even though it's running through my right now. Asuka was ready to spit as soon as she got, you clearly knew. And the person in row ZZZ knew that Asuka had shit in her mouth ready to spit.
Oh, yeah.
She struggled to keep it in. At least have her come out, shake her hand, and then bow to her. And she's bowing, then put the capsule in your mouth. And I'm defending Asuka. And that's the bad part. I'm defending her. She has to make that mile-long fucking entrance, do her shtick, shake her hand, pause, and I can't.
No.
Especially she had a fucking mouthful.
Oh, and you knew she was speed walking through that entire entrance too, because it was ready to come out. So she motored through that whole entrance to get to the ring, to get it out. I agree with you. Bow. She's bowed before. Let her do it again. Let her not bite into it, because I'm sure it's a capsule. You don't bite into it until you get to the ring. Just have it in your mouth, ready to go. I don't know if that was the problem too, or she maybe prematurely bit it, and then it was like, oh shit, we're live now, and I'm ready to do this. But yeah, I don't know.
So that's essentially SmackDown. Raw, listen. We saw Jinder and what the hell is the other guy?
And this here.
Yeah. Destroy locals. That's your... Why? Why so quick? Well, I mean...
I don't know. I want this... Here's the thing. I can't believe that they're going to be a very dominant team when I see what's going on with the Viking Raiders or Viking Experience, whatever the fuck they're called. I can't remember anymore. When you tear down a team like that was War Machine in New Japan.
Here we go. Yep.
To whatever the fuck they are now, how am I supposed to believe Indus is going to be anything but a parody of just a Demolition or a LOD or something like that?
By the way, I despise the name.
I do too. I don't know.
Like a fucking corporation that sells, I don't know, tissues, paper towels, tampons, toiletries.
Listen, when you got Jinder walking around with power turtlenecks on, that's what you're gonna get is Indus paper towels and toilet paper.
Right. I'll buy in if they're gonna sell that.
Give me 4 cases right now.
4 cases of Indus towels, please. They're like ShamWows, but just a little bit better. I have things written down that I saw on Raw. They're in no fucking particular order.
Okay.
I like the Zoe and Candice interaction. Even though, Candice defended Nikki a little bit, I'm excited to see what Zoe and Candice can do. I think next week, this is going to be a match where we're going to be like, holy moly. if they let them both go. That's the downfall, and give them 10 to 12 minutes compared to 3.5.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Can they unhook the leash long enough to A, establish Zoe, B, actually establish Candice, not even reestablish, just establish Candice on the main brand because they have not let her do that yet, and C, avoid a hokey ass ending where Nikki Cross somehow interferes in this match because that's where that's kind of trending to right now.
And that's the sad part.
Yeah, that's a very sad part. Let Nikki stay away and let these two women just have at it. Obviously, I'm going to guess that Zoe's going to get the win on it, but
I would imagine.
Let them cook.
Let them both shine.
Let these ladies cook, have the time, tell the story, and take and steal the show. That's what needs to happen.
I really enjoyed even the ending, the Woods and Dom match. I did.
Did you think you would ever say that? I'm laughing because did you ever think you'd say that about a Dom match?
I didn't. But the ending was because of Rhea.
Oh, yeah, of course. The ending with Rhea was spot on.
But Dom, I don't know why. Something in this match, I'm like, fuck, this kid is maybe a teenager now. In wrestling terms. You know what I'm saying? He's not a man yet.
I get it. Dom's cooking. Dom's growing up. He's getting better week by week. He's gotten way better on the mic. He's got the charisma for the mic. And, the charisma to be hated.
It's all the rub from Ripley.
All the rub from Ripley, the charisma to be hated. He's got it all. And he's going through, I know the hate's going to come because I'm going to make this statement.
Here it comes!
He's going, and I'm not saying this on talent level, but he is going through his Eddie Guerrero WCW mullet, like, right around the time he faced Eddie or Rey Mysterio time frame. I'm not saying the talent's on the same level, but Dom is hated. Dom is despicable in some form or fashion. The things he's done to his family, he's getting there. He's in that space. He's got a terrible mullet. It's all working for that area. Dom's entering that phase right now. I'm not saying he's going to tear down the world and we're going to have a Halloween Havoc remake of some sort that Ray and Eddie had.
That, yes.
You were far from that. Exactly. But to your point, he's entering that teenage years. He's maturing more and more in the ring. He's hit puberty, just started puberty. So he's going to flourish in the ring, if you will, here in the coming years. He will, if you will. Before we move off this, why have we not exchanged the titles between Rhea and Bianca yet?
I wasn't even, because I'm annoyed. I wasn't even going to bring that up because I'm pissed off.
I had to bring it up because, we're 2 weeks into this draft. 3 weeks into this draft. Switch the fucking titles. I'm confused why the SmackDown Women's Champion's the Raw person and why the Raw is the SmackDown. Can we have a title exchange? Can we do something?
You've already ruined it. Not you personally, but them.
They have ruined it. Just change the title. Get it done.
Don't even do it on TV. Just say WWE.com exclusive. They shook hands and said, yeah, this is probably a good thing we should do.
They made comments and then they left each other. We have a tag team match. Judgment Day versus Street Profits. Hell, to your point, WWE.com exclusive, have a whole thing where the Street Profits are behind Bianca. Judgment Day's behind Rhea. They go to exchange the titles. There's a brouhaha. And Saudi Arabia, we have a tag match between Street Profits and Judgment Day because they just fucking started touching each other. So, winner, winner, chicken dinner. You got another match for Saudi.
Boom.
Just do something. God.
We're going to stay on this point now because now I'm fucked off, Jenks. Rhea can't defend it on Raw because her competition isn't there. Bianca can't defend it on SmackDown because so what is Asuka going for? She's a SmackDown person going after the Raw title. So if she wins, we're in the same fucking predicament.
Yeah. Maybe that's, you know what? Let's just play it. They know exactly what they're doing because it adds another layer to the world title situation. That was supposed to be Raw exclusive, but now AJ Styles could win it, and run off of it because the women haven't even exchanged champions yet. It's like the minor details have been forgotten. They're starting to get better at the storytelling, but they're forgetting about minor details that are actually pretty glaring holes, but they just aren't thinking of that right away. So I also wonder how many times Triple H has put in a script to swap the titles, and Vince has taken it out.
We're not doing that yet.
We're not doing that yet. We got to do it at Saudi. We got to do it somewhere else.
I thought Miz was going to get the win over Shinsuke, which was nothing against Miz because, I love him, but I'm like, what is this going to do for the Miz? And then all of a sudden Shinsuke got the win. But
out of nowhere, Shinsuke got the win. Because I thought the same thing. It just didn't seem like it was going towards the Shinsuke win, and then he pulled it out of it.
It didn't do anything for either one, by the way.
It
did nothing for either one of them. So Liv's hurt. There's no tag team match. Raquel decides she's going to beat the snot out of Chelsea. God damn it. Chelsea. God damn it. And this was just for Ronda, and essentially Ronda and Shayna come out to beat the shit out of whatever.
Yeah.
So this match is going to happen, and they're dropping the titles.
Yep.
But I've heard that, I know Ronda just get back from hurtness and an injury and everything, but she had built-in time off coming up. So they win these tag titles. How long are they going to have them? A month, maybe? They're supposed to be done. They were supposed to win. Listen, guys, it's out there. They were supposed to win the tag titles at Mania.
Yeah.
Just shit didn't go awry. They didn't know if Ronda was going to be back. They threw her into that 4-way match that she went in and said hi and got the pin. Whatever. That was a shit show. Still really not completely healthy. So now she's back and she's healthy, but she has built-in time on her contract for whatever she's got coming up. A B movie, this, that, or the other, going to daddy daycare, whatever she's got. It's her personal life. She built it into her schedule. Why fucking put them on there then now? You know they're going to.
Mm-hmm. Are they going to? Is it going to just disappear for the time Ronda's out?
That's
is that what's going to happen?
Tag titles are gone again.
Yeah, and we don't have anything relevant. Or Shayna's just walking around with 2 sets of belts, something like that. I don't know.
I thought they were building them back up, and it's not going to be the right move to put them on Ronda and Shayna.
It's not, unless they have Ronda and Shayna for a very long time after this whole time off is taken. If they can come back and they have them for 6 months to run with them, okay, great. But they'd have to be on every night, on the shows every night. They have to be doing matches every couple weeks or whatnot. They're not going to, I'm sorry, but Ronda's not going to do that. I don't think Ronda's schedule allows for that.
I don't think so either.
So how are they going to be able to defend these titles? The one legit team they might have, there's other teams out there, but the one legit tag team that's kind of been together more than a cup of coffee outside of Damage Control is not going to show up that often.
Right. Right. And Damage Control is not going to be a team. So essentially, everybody's going to throw hate to this. The longest tenured team is going to end up being Chelsea and Sonya.
Yeah. Because Raquel and Liv are not going to be a team much longer after.
Yeah, as soon as this happens,
done.
They're done. They're broken up. And Raquel should be pushed to take on the SmackDown champion. Or where are they even slotted, by the way? On Raw or SmackDown?
SmackDown, I thought.
I did too. Okay.
Yeah.
So her and Bianca. All right, I'm good for that. Or her and Rip. Either one, because the fucking titles still have me confused. Either one, Raquel against. I'm buying that.
Agreed. I also want to see Raquel get her heel turn and turn into beast mode. Yeah. Raquel needs to be the monster that she was built up to be in NXT. Get her back to that. You know what? Take the smile off her face and just let her become the monster that she can be.
Becky thanks Trish for, lighting her fire, doing this, do that. This one match at Saudi, isn't it? I think we're going to get a couple. And I don't know if I want to see a couple of Trish matches. I want to see all the Becky matches.
Yeah.
She said she's number one out there right now. A title doesn't mean anything to her. I'm not disagreeing with that. Becky is a spectacle see. You don't see her wrestle normally on the shows anymore. She is a pay-per-view wrestler.
Yep.
She's earned it.
She has.
I'm all for it. Fine and dandy. She can be that spectacle. I don't want it against Trish for the next 3 fucking pay-per-views.
I'm wondering if we get it for this one, they don't do Money in the Bank, and then they do SummerSlam as the blow-off. But we have to get Lita back into the fold at some point, and I think Lita is going to be the key to this whole thing. Where does Lita fit into this? Trish attacked Lita too. So are we getting Trish and Lita somewhere down the line? Is that the SummerSlam match, and this is a blow-off match? I don't know. Or do we not? I don't even know if this could be the lone match they have, because Trish may have only committed to 2 months of full-time travel and said, I'm out after Saudi. It's a hell of a bumpy road, but I don't know where that leaves Becky in the summertime, right? Especially at the biggest pay-per-view of them all. If she doesn't need a title and she's already declared that, why is she going to be... She's going to be floating into the abyss at that point with nobody to face. Right.
There's nothing.
There's nothing going on
for Becky here in the near future.
No.
Again, at any point she can go after a title, and she gets one. We talked about Ali. Judgment Day beats. I hated the main event. I'm sorry. I hated the main event. It was just fucking chaos, and the writing was on the wall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I did like the Cody speech, though.
I love the Cody speech. Hold on one second. Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay. He's going to yell at his dog, by the way. Bailey, stop peeing on the floor. No. Cody talking about he's ready to fight next Saturday. Him saying Brock is 99.9% better than any other wrestler. I wonder if that threw a lot of heat on Cody. And just back and forth, he was going to be the next big thing, but he is already the thing. Just the way that Cody delivered it, I'm like, now it's not one of his dad's pay-per-view promos, or actually any of Cody's better ones, but to get me to buy another Cody Brock match, it sold me.
He sold it hella well.
Is Bailey okay?
She's fine. She was very loud. I won't get into it. Anyways, she's fine. But this was a great promo by Cody. It really sold the second match. I love the line, it's Brock Lesnar's nature to hunt. That, to me, was like, oh, that's beautiful. Because he's a hunter. He's hunting his prey. He hunted Roman for so many years. He hunted the WWE title when he came back. He hunted anything that he was trying to do. So this was a perfect way of saying that. Hell of a story, deep proverbs with the scorpion and the frog, just trying to get that over the hump there. But is Cody winning on Sunday or Saturday? I don't know. I feel like Brock.
There's got to be a part 3.
But there's got to be a part 3. There's never just a 2-part with Brock Lesnar. If you go past one match with Brock, it's a 3-part series.
Yeah.
And he needs to avenge the simple roll-up or the way he lost last month, at the fluke way he lost at Backlash.
Do we get a cage at Wembley? Now, I'm not saying Hell in a Cell, I just mean a cage.
We could get a cage at, it's not at Wembley, it's at O2. Wembley's all out.
Yeah.
WWE can't afford Wembley now. Anyway, I'm just kidding. But maybe, but how much money do they got to pay Brock Lesnar to go over an ocean besides Saudi Arabia, right? Especially.
How much are they making over there already?
Oh, yeah. So maybe they make it a cage. It could end up being a Hell in a Cell, because remember, Cody and Seth went 3 matches, and the third match was Hell in a Cell. Cody and Brock go 3 matches. I think it could be a Hell in a Cell, but I think it's at SummerSlam, not at Money in the Bank. I think Brock won't commit to 2 overseas trips within a month of each other.
A month? Fuck that. It's like a week and a half. No.
Yeah, I know, right?
Real quick.
But I could see them delaying it till SummerSlam because the big stage, you got to get people in there. Hell, they got to compete with Collision now. So they got to get the butts in the seats at this point. So Brock and Cody and Cell's, I think, on the horizon.
And just having, because if you do this, listen, if you do the 3 matches and it breaks down that the next one is in England, what does Cody do at SummerSlam? Right?
Yep.
Even if Cody's in the Money in the Bank match, it adds, oh my God, he's going to win that. We'll be saying this. He's going to win this. And that's when he says, hey, Roman, we're repeating again at WrestleMania. I'm throwing that out there right now so you know.
Mm-hmm.
Does he need to win the whatever? No, he doesn't need the Money in the Bank. There's other ways that WrestleMania can loop back around and blah, 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 blah. And not even saying the Royal Rumble either. There's other ways that they can redo this. But it's just having him in the match, which is being talked about then. Brock gets a month off. He gets pissed off. But why does Brock take the month off? That's where I'll have to sell that. Does Cody take the loss and snap and injures Brock that he can't be in England? Because why wouldn't Brock, if he wins this against Cody, want to be baited, continue this story for the next time? I need to get Brock out of the picture for England. And how are we going to do that?
That would be wild if, and I completely agree with your point. I get that. It'd be wild if Cody, for 2 pay-per-views in a row, somehow disfigures or attacks Brock Lesnar. Cody snaps. Last time, stitches in the face. Most horrific visual we've ever seen of Brock Lesnar is an injured Brock Lesnar. So he's embarrassed him at that point. Now he embarrasses him again in Saudi Arabia after Brock wins the match by just decimating Brock with kendo sticks and that. To your point, it levels it up to put it inside of a cell.
Agreed.
I will take it to this point, though. Maybe Cody does enter Money in the Bank. Maybe Cody's in the match. Brock Lesnar's already interrupted one Money in the Bank before and won it. Why not interrupt another one to just destroy Cody Rhodes and deprive him of that opportunity at SummerSlam? So riding off of your point, Cody's going to announce it beforehand. Brock screws him out of the Money in the Bank. We now have a SummerSlam main event match, basically, between the 2 inside of a cell, because that's the only place it could go from here with the level of brutality and viciousness that they've already instilled on each other. So I like your idea a lot. I think it has a lot of legs.
That you threw on top of it.
Yeah.
We could book together.
We could make this work.
We could. That's it for WWE for me. You got anything else?
Let's see. We complained about the women's tag titles. We've talked about playing this thing. Now we're good. I got nothing else here. A lot of interesting pieces are being put into play here. Again, we talk about it being a filler show and that, but there's a lot of interesting pieces at play, and WWE is playing chess with a lot of these pieces. One in particular, I'm going to keep calling back, this Ali Gunther thing. I feel like there's some sort of fluke shit going on here that I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll get there when we get there. That's it for WWE for me, but interesting pieces are on the board at least to hold us over.
Mega prediction show, by the way, next week, by the way. Mega predictions. We have to do Saudi, and then we have to do Double or Nothing. So, very heavy predictions, quick on wrestling, long on us talking about what our week was, of course, because I don't help it anymore. But all right, let's give some love to AEW here in the third segment. And then let's just completely fucking shit on them because they're assholes.
They're fucking dicks.
We'll be back.
Hey, all you stupid Regents math breathers out there. This is Amanda. I'm Elijah Dean, and you are listening to Can Crushers Podcast.
Stand back! There's a Can Crushers podcast coming through. Welcome back, everybody.
I love it. Top of your head?
Top of my head. As we were talking right before we were getting ready to go on air, I'm like, oh my god, I haven't done Hurricane yet. I need to incorporate this.
We both did the move, by the way. We're idiots that you guys can't see. Listen, I always say, let's do Facebook. Let's do Facebook. Let's do YouTube. Okay. Listen, I just don't. I'm not going to be a dick. Editing audio is one thing. Editing video, completely different fucking scenario.
Could you imagine if we just did live on TikTok every week? Did a TikTok live?
If I could become famous on TikTok, I would instantly. I would get kicked off of TikTok so fast. Facebook wouldn't even allow us on there for a second.
No, God, no. We YouTuber bust. Live on YouTube would be the only way to do this.
So, NCAA softball still on in my house in the studio. Upstairs, I went pee during break, by the way, folks. The wife is watching. The wife is watching the Savannah Bananas. Okay.
Okay.
And she's like, "Do you know a Swisher guy?" I'm like, "Oh my god, Nick Swisher's playing against the Bananas on the Monarchs."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I won't switch it tonight though. NCAA is top of the line for me. But guess who got in the lottery, and guess who's going July 2nd to Akron? We got fucking tickets.
You got in. Holy shit.
She got in, and she like punched out at work and bought tickets and punched back in so she couldn't get. Listen, banana tickets are going on sale. I'm leaving. No, she just paused her life.
Got them, and then
got on board. So July 2nd, it's a Sunday. We're going to Akron. It's a 7:30 game. So
that's amazing.
Go see. I have a buddy that when I went back to school, Austin Stevens, works for the Arrows, and maybe I can get to be on the field with the Savannah Bananas.
Now, does he work with the Rubber Ducks? Because the Arrows have been gone for a bit, yeah.
He works with the Rubber Ducks. Arrow's still there, though, the mascot.
Yeah.
He's with the Rubber Ducks, but yes, thank you for correcting me on that. The Arrows were when we were together.
Right.
The old Howlers. But yeah, he works with the Rubber Ducks, so I'll have to reach out to him. We have tickets, get in. So there's an awesome deli in Akron, like a block and a half away from the stadium when we went there. My God, the Reuben there was the best Reuben. Of course, everything's fucking around food. It was the best Reuben I've ever had in my life.
Ooh.
And I'm a Reuben fucking connoisseur.
I love
Reuben. One of my favorite sandwiches.
Oh, Reuben's such a good sandwich.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you damn well better be watching that game on YouTube that night.
Oh, you know what, I will. I think I will, just because of you now.
Yeah. See if I'm on field or something. Maybe Biko Skellen, I can get around to let him call an inning.
Well, maybe you can convince him.
Yeah.
Hey,
I worked with Golden Pipes Gagne, who called his 2,500th game.
Isn't that amazing? 2,500 games. So he's been around for what was it? 2006, 7? I think I read somewhere. I'm trying to remember. 6, yeah. 17 years. Got 2,500 games. He was
still a baby when I called games with him.
No, which is wild. That doesn't that tell you something too? He was still
fucking old as hell.
I'm old too. Fuck, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
12 years ago.
Right.
Fuck.
All right. So listen, we're going to do AEW, okay? And we're going to do it in a random order. We'll talk probably about the main event way before the main event and stuff like that. We're saving one match till the end. You'll get it. Jenks knows which one it is. So let's just talk about AEW and kind of what's going on with them before their pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They had to make matches because we really only had 2 matches.
Well, this is their MO now, is we got to wait till 2 weeks out before we announce every single match on the card that's going to be there, the 14 of them or whatever they're going to end up being. So yeah, and we kick things off. Or if you want to go right at the beginning, kick things right off.
We go in order until we get there, and then we'll pause.
All right. Kick things off. Wardlow, Christian in a ladder match, of all things, at a Double or Nothing. Were you expecting this? I thought it was going to be Lucha and Wardlow.
I did too, but this is just saying that, to me, this is saying Wardlow gets this win and gets decimated. Again, predictions next week, but this might be a spoiler. Gets decimated. He's facing Lucha at some point. We all want this. We want that match. Yep,
we do. Nobody's denying that. So the extension is what's throwing me off here. When do we get that? And why wouldn't we get that on a pay-per-view?
Right.
Not on a random episode of Dynamite is kind of where my confusion lies with that. I don't understand that piece of it.
That makes me go, are they... Listen, they have the stock in both of them. I truly believe the stock is up on both of them, especially Wardlow. But are they underplaying Lucha? Is more of the story to come? Because I looped everything together. Like, if it had Wardlow involved in it, because even like 10 minutes later, they show him in the locker room and Arn's pissed off at him. Mm-hmm. But Wardlow's like, I'm playing the game too, or whatever he said, so let's fucking have I wish they would swear a little bit on AEW, like, and not bleep it.
Yeah.
Let's fucking have a ladder match. Never saw Christian involved in this.
No, never. Maybe they're pulling the wool over our eyes, and we're going to get a swerve at the pay-per-view. Maybe it is Lucha versus Wardlow, but they're just billing it as Christian versus Wardlow. So always remember, Christian's always playing a different game. He is playing the master of manipulation and mind games. Christian could just walk out at the pay-per-view and say, this was never for me. This was for Lucha. And we could just have a banger of a ladder match between the two giants, which would be absolutely fantastic. But it also goes back to build this between the two giants and let them be the centerpiece, not use Christian as a Trojan horse of sorts to get the butts in the seats.
Wrong Trojan came into my mind.
Yeah, that was way wrong. As soon as we started laughing, I'm like, that's not the right Trojan.
Fuck. The sad part is they're building this as Wardlow and Christian. I would feel bad for Lucha in this, that he's not getting the build then of this.
Yeah, he's not getting anything out of this. He's just the heavy that's going to be by his side. Or maybe we're just overthinking of it, and Christian's just winning the title, and they're going to figure out a way with that. What's going to know?
Wardlow's title reigns will then essentially be like a week and a half long.
Yeah.
Of meaningless.
Well, and to that point, it's going to really promote that. I don't know if the casual fan's going to want to see him in a world title scenario, because he's just having lackluster title wins after lackluster title defenses and after reigns. If they're lackluster, what the hell's the point?
Right. Yeah, they're booking him into a hole.
Mm-hmm. Big old hole.
By the way, fuck you. It's pop. I don't care. I saw your sign. It's pop. It's not soda.
It's pop. It's definitely pop. I don't know what you guys are having difficulty understanding that or what's going on. I did not pop for that sign because it is pop.
Yeah, right. Orange and Darby against Lee and Big Bill. There was something else I liked about the match. Okay, but I'll get to my big that I brought up. I love the pin spot. That fucking pin. When you do a pin spot like that, and it was crisp.
Mm-hmm.
I go ape shit each. I know. Have you ever seen anybody get a pin off of a pin spot like that?
No. God, no.
But I pop each time because it's just uber athletic, and I give them the props for that. That's cool. especially that early in the match. Okay, because I have everything else booked together. Why the fuck is Darby in this match?
TV time. But doesn't it? Well, I guess they wanted to get all the championship contenders matches, right? But doesn't it do Darby a disservice to be in a tag match versus a one-on-one?
Give me. Everybody else had something to do individually.
Yep.
Give me Darby Lee. Give me Darby Bill. You could break this down. Mm-hmm. And I know Orange just fought both of the other two, so essentially that's why you're bringing them together. Give me Darby anybody. Listen, Sammy's match lasted 2 moves. We're going to link all this fucking together.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah.
Sammy's match did 2 moves, and then he cut a promo.
Yep.
If Darby was going to do the same thing, okay. Who's the other one?
Jack Perry.
Jack Perry. Well, he had a little bit longer match. Whatever.
He got his ass kicked. Let's call it a spade. He got his ass kicked by Rouge and pinned him somehow. Right. Pulled a pin out of his ass.
It was a longer of all.
It was a longer affair, but he took a match and got his ass kicked. Sammy got the night off essentially, facing developmental 2 seconds and dominating. Darby was in a tag match. So
what's it do for the pillar? The 3 pillars that.
Yeah, all it did was piss MJ off enough that he smacked the microphone out of Renee's hand. That was all I got out of the world title build last week, was that. And
it did nothing for me.
Did nothing for me either.
If this was to sell me, there'll be more next week. But if this is the last thing, because I can't watch Dynamite next week, this is to sell me to buy the pay-per-view, I ain't buying.
Yeah.
No, this was buying, but
if this was the main point to get you there, it's not worth it.
Not at all.
I would not sell this. I would not buy this whatsoever.
And are we getting Orange dropping the title? Because now we're going to keep with Orange in the Battle Royal, or is he going to fucking sleep in the corner? And 20 other people are going to throw each other out, and then that's Orange. Oh, my God, Orange defeated. If that happens, I am going to go off. This is where, if it's for the title, they're declaring it for the title, this has Miro written all over it. Mm. If nobody really takes a pin, getting eliminated from a Battle Royal is not going to hurt Orange Cassidy because that's the way he lost the title.
Right.
Do I like the whole fucking concept of it? Not at all. But if you want to keep your cheese still on Orange Cassidy because this is the way that Miro, and I'm picking Miro, I don't care, is going to win this, okay, fine and dandy. Then don't have them together for a while. Get build up for other things and then repeat 6 months down the line. I just don't think once Orange loses this, sail away for a while.
Yeah. My thought was do the Battle Royal, do whatever you need to do with it. Orange is going to win the Battle Royal, but I think Miro is nowhere a part of this in attacks after the Battle Royal. Because Miro makes the statement afterwards and then they drop the title on TV at some point, right? Because to me, if you're not going to announce any of these 21 guys before they even get to the match, like, what the fuck's the point of even building it up? You know what I mean? What would be the point of him dropping the title? You've made it a point for Miro to come back in a backstage segment just randomly. Have him trot out and just destroy Orange Cassidy after the Battle Royal. Miro doesn't need the Battle Royal to be involved in or get the title shot, so let him come out afterwards. And we'll say this, though. Don't be surprised if Andrade's not in this Battle Royal crew, because there's got to be surprises in it, though, to your point. So Miro could be one of the surprises. Andrade's probably definitely one of the surprises because he's already showed up on their social media and he's back. So there's going to be different players involved in these Battle Royals that are going to be the surprises. I just think Miro might not be in the Battle Royal because he's the actual winner and he's going to attack afterwards to make a statement.
I'm all right with that. I just don't want 20 other Exodus Primes in this match that beat the snot out of Orange Cassidy for a while. He takes a nap, and people just start throwing everybody out, and Orange Cassidy then throws out one person and keeps his title.
I mean, it can't be any worse than Wardlow beating up 20 security guards in waves.
Right.
Right? So, at least these are actual guys that might fight for a little while and have a chance at something.
Listen,
they're not going to have a chance to win it, but they're going to have a chance to land a punch.
El Fuego is going to be in this. Serpentine.
Every member of the Dark Order.
All the Dark Order. Me and you, the English Professor.
Yeah, anybody from Ring of Honor that they just want to bring up and kind of throw in here. There's going to be some legitimate guys that are like, okay, they're going to make the final 6, right? But then there's going to be these filler guys. Yeah, exactly. They're going to have the filler guys, and then they're going to have the 6 that are going to be the dominating faction. And then we're going to have a good match after with that little bit of beef. Don't be surprised if Vikingo's in here, too, flying around and does some sort of crazy shit to get eliminated, or gets knocked off, gets flipped off, or whatever it is. But
touche. I am not excited for it, though.
Fair enough.
Young Bucks and Kenny banged up, and then they get beat to shit.
Get jumped in the fucking parking lot. They had no chance. They had no chance whatsoever.
They're really building this up. Oh, wait. Let's fast forward. And I'm really fucking excited. Now, I am excited. Don Callis essentially makes fun of Kenny at the end of the show. BCC attacks. Young Bucks come out. They're still not enough. The return of the pirate Hangman
Page. By the way, 100%. I don't know what you want me to do, but sick ass fucking eye patch. I gotta compliment the eye patch. Sorry, that's where I was going, man. That fucking eye patch was sick.
I was talking about Taz doing the hoe because
somebody had a 2x4.
Going off. And then as we kind of predicted for a while, something big was going to happen. Anarchy in the arena.
And
goddamn, I can't wait.
I can't either.
This sold the pay-per-view for me that night. Because a lot of the other stuff, not smack talking AEW, because we're marked for AEW, didn't sell it.
No, this in particular, it just building in violence, inheriting. Last year you had it, but it was the JAS, so you had like Menard and all of them schmucks and all that. Now you have 8 guys that are gonna do your main card. They're your top tier guys. They're gonna fucking burn the place down. This is gonna be absolute chaos in no particular order.
Yeah,
shit's gonna fly. People are going to bleed. Moxley's probably going to lose about 4 pints of blood.
Before he gets to
He's going to need a transfusion by the time. Renee's going to have to literally take him, put him in an ambulance, get him a transfusion after this whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
You thought Zombie Kingston last year was going to be a sight. Wait till this fucking thing goes on.
Yeah. And this is why I'll be late for work on Memorial Day.
It's a great ass reason.
This could be the main event. I know it's not going to be. I understand the Pillars match is going to be da-da-da-da-da. This should be the main event.
It should be.
And I'm not knocking the Pillars. You know how I feel that they're having this match.
This needs to happen middle of the show. And there needs to be 2 matches.
Mega separation
between the matches, because it's going to overshadow everything. If this is match 1, it's going to overshadow the entire show. So you kind of have to play your cards and say, where can I get the most, maximize it the most here? Middle of the show, you can get a couple things. People are waiting for this. They're salivating over this. Couple matches in between that and the main event kind of can get the crowd back down, get them into the main event so they can kind of enjoy it. But unfortunately, the Pillars match is dramatically overshadowed in this whole thing, in this whole pay-per-view right now because of that.
Yeah. We talked about all the pillars. We talked, so we don't have to talk about that. Next up, Tony's in the ring, and he welcomes Team Double J. These are your boys, FTR. I want your perspective of this.
I mean, I loved FTR coming out. The Karen Jarrett just showing up out of fucking nowhere. Like, it seemed like it was going too well. First of all, let's take it back to the ramp, because this is where Satnam Singh, I should start there. Satnam Singh taking a table bump as a 7'3" guy. Fantastic. Loved it. And he sold it like nothing. He just looked like he was like light as a feather, just flying off the stage.
It was like Harry Carey, not the baseball announcer. He just Harry carried himself off
the stage. And I'm like, okay, fucking yeah, light on your feet. Here we go. I love that FTR dominated them up until the point when Karen Jarrett just shows up, with to nut shot them. And now I'm like, oh, fuck, Karen Jarrett's here now. I guess we don't have any issues with AEW and probably with Max Caster, but not AEW as a whole. But Nutshots FTR, they're down. They get the advantage taken out of them. I was driven nuts by the fact they didn't hit them with the right guitars for the first. I was like, you're hitting them with the wrong guitars, guys. What are you doing here? But I think this is how it's going to go until Double or Nothing. And we're going to get Briscoe-Karen interaction that I think is going to be the difference maker in the whole match.
Do you think, besides Briscoe being the special referee, is there another stipulation? Like, there's so much around this. Guitars and tables and death and dismemberment and Karen Jarrett. And is the only thing stipulation Briscoe in this, or is Jarrett and Sut handcuffed to each other, or is there somebody else, like an old school, like NWA vibe to this?
I think Briscoe's going to be enough, because I think Briscoe's going to allow a lot more than a traditional referee. I think Briscoe's just going to let him fight, and it's going to turn into like a no DQ match, because Briscoe's not going to disqualify anybody.
No.
He may pretend it right off the beginning, but I think Briscoe's going to be enough, because it's going to be they're going to have mass chaos not mass chaos, but it's going to be a little chaotic in this match.
Does Briscoe put his hands on Karen?
I think Briscoe and Karen are going to get into a shouting match. I don't know if he puts his hands on her, or there's definitely going to be a interaction between Karen Jarrett and somebody in this match, whether it's an FTR guy, Jeff Jarrett running into her, or it could be Mark Briscoe. She's taking a spot, and she's going to get hit, and it's going to make all the world of difference in the distraction. What I'm also hoping not happens is that Karen Jarrett is the difference that costs them the match, and then they're the tag team champions, and she just ends up nut-shotting Briscoe because they just used them to get the tag titles. That could also happen. So I think there's a lot at play here, but I feel like Karen Jarrett's taking a spot at some point and getting hit inadvertently or whatever it is.
More on that next week. We're not giving that much more away.
We don't want to give too much away.
So Tony and Ruby with Saraya takes on Sheeta and Britt, and they've made it known that Sheeta and Britt don't like each other, blah, 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 6 million times in this match.
Yeah.
Yet, we know that Sheeta's essentially the one that ran out in those amazing clogs that she had a couple weeks ago to save them, because it is the enemy of my enemy is my enemy.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
That is probably wrong. Is it right?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, right? Enemy of my... I don't know now.
Whatever. You get it. You're going to fucking look it up.
I gotta go. Yeah, I'm going to fucking look it up. Go ahead.
I just don't know. Like, the steam is running out on this as well. Especially with what happens in the Adam Cole match. And yes, I said the Adam Cole match that we're going to get to here in a minute, because at Double or Nothing now, Tony Storm is challenging Hayter
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have been building up Saraya to kind of get a title shot, but she's not going to be involved because if you listened at the end of the Jericho Strong match, it was force-fed, and it sounded complete, and there's so much more to shit on that match about.
Yep.
It was force-fed. Dude, don't forget that Jericho did this and Adam Cole and da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, we remember, but it was just so forced that, listen, we understand. It's going to be Adam and Britt against Saraya and Jericho. Because neither one of those four, any of those four, is not off the card.
No.
It's not going to happen.
No, definitely not.
So we're getting a mixed tag match. It was just force-fed to us in a god-awful way.
Yeah, force-fed, god-awful way is a great way to put that. Yeah, enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's the official saying. So, they laid it on thick with all of that. And I don't know if I'm disappointed that it's a mixed tag match or I'm kind of happy it's a mixed tag match. I guess it extends both, but I guess where's the payoff? I can't see that they keep giving away this. Here, well, you know what? No, here's the payoff. We're giving it away on AEW Collision. Jericho and Adam Cole will be probably the main event or something on Collision because why not? So we're going to use Double or Nothing as our mixed tag match, and then you can get Jericho and Adam Cole as your main event for that one. Saraya can't fight more than once a month, so obviously if she's in the mixed tag match, she's not going to be fighting on Collision at that point in time, but maybe over the 4th of July weekend she is. I don't know, but I think you're right in that aspect of it. They haven't announced an actual match between Jericho and Cole yet. I don't think that's going to be the play here. I think, to your point, it's going to be a mixed tag match. And even then, I don't know if I want to watch that or if that's going to be the thing that sells me on the pay-per-view again. Right. It's like, okay. Can we skip to the good part? Let's go down that song. How do we skip to the good part here? How do we get to Jericho and Adam Cole? And how do we revisit Britt and Saraya at some point? I don't know, but
this leaves off two players one in the Outcast and one on Britt then. So you're leaving Sheeta, who's made a big impact recently, joining Hayter and Britt off of the card.
Right.
And you're leading Ruby, who essentially last pay-per-view turned and went with, so she should still be one of the hottest Outcasts because she just joined and she's the Riot, the Runaway, whatever. So she's you're going to leave Sheeta and Ruby off of this then because you have Jamie and Tony because Tony got 4 wins in 5 days. They're making a big to-do about that. Fucking special in the wrestling world.
Congratulations, Tony. I mean, a lot of people do that. I'm pretty sure Orange Cassidy did that 14 times, and so did probably the Acclaimed when they didn't have a tag title opportunity. Right.
That's not a reason for her to get a title shot.
No, but they needed a reason. They needed some reason to get a hot streak on somebody to get a title shot. To your point, we could be seeing Ruby and Sheeta on Dynamite as a main event or at the pay-per-view as a just one-off. They just go make it an Outcast.
It's during the buy-in match or whatever.
It's a buy-in, 0 hour, whatever they're calling it, buy-in, 0 hour, whatever. It could definitely be that, and just get Ruby and Sheeta on the card, which is a disservice to both of them because they're fantastic women who I think could put on a very great match. But
agreed. The whole storyline intermingled with the Outcasts, Britt, Adam Cole, and Jericho is a fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah.
So we get Tony Khan, and Tony, I love you. We get Tony Khan to come out. He announces we've been talking about Collision. We love the logo. Every Collision from here till the end of time is booked. Except the
first one. Because we have to build suspense to Chicago.
Right. Just announce it. We understand CM Punk's coming back and he is going to be there, or is he? Because
no, Ace Steel's not coming back. If Ace Steel's not coming back, Punk's not coming back.
But they said he was rehired months ago. But he's just not booking.
Yeah.
This is them just stirring the pot.
Oh, they're just fucking around now. They're dragging it out and fucking around. That's all they're doing here. Every week he's got to have a major announcement to build up the suspense for it. Because it's been every week just something to get people to watch the show.
Well, last week was an announcement that he had an announcement.
Announcement this week, yeah. He literally didn't have an announcement last week. He just had an announcement that there's an announcement coming.
And then more on that next week. What? Stop.
The most dragged out announcements for a show I've ever seen in my lifetime.
We talked about Roosh and Jungle Boy. We talked about MJF. Tony. Jay White and Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know. I am going to get hate. Get ready. I'm not buying in on AEW Jay White yet.
I'm not either. Something else is going on here. So I'm gonna play this a little. I'm playing devil's advocate here. And there's SmackDown's running their Billy Graham Memorial right now. But I was watching this match and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, something's missing from this whole Jay White thing. There's something here. Something's not being told. There's a story not happening. And then the DQ happened. So I'm like, okay, so they're extending this for the pay-per-view. Starks and Jay White pay-per-view. Something smells fishy. And this is where I think Don Callis ties everything back together. That we're not seeing AEW Jay White is not selling, is not as great as in New Japan right now.
Right.
I think Don Callis is playing a game here, and he's going to reemerge with this Bullet Club gold, if you will. And that's when we see this kind of epiphany happening. It's not going to happen at the pay-per-view. I think we have a little bit of time leading up to Forbidden Door. But we're going to see this transformation, and Jay White in AEW is going to start living up to his potential because Don Callis is actually aligned with him and aligned with this Bullet Club gold. And don't be surprised if Takeshita is showing up in that as well. So I think the pieces aren't there yet because they're playing a long game that has to extend the Forbidden Door so that they can get there. I think that's what's going on here because you're right. Jay White is not clicking on all cylinders just yet because I think there's pieces missing that aren't in place right now. How it ties together, not sure, but it would be the perfect tie around because we know there's animosity between Jay White, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and the Elite Bullet Club. Elite and the Bullet Club. There's a lot going on there.
They have to finish BCC first, though.
Exactly. They have to wrap that all on a bow before they can move forward with it.
Touche.
Or that's the ending to the BCC match.
Possibly. That's what I would lean towards that.
Yeah. They come out, interfere. That's the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah. All right, folks.
Here we go.
Jericho against Roddy Strong. Falls count anywhere. Everybody's banned from inside the arena. We knew that. We called the ending. They fought everywhere. Adam Cole lays out Jericho. He gets pinned in the middle of a fucking dirt pile. More to come on that. The force fed. That's the match, essentially, right?
That is the match. I mean, good match. They had nice, decent spots. We got a lot to talk about here.
So, I get a text from Mr. Jenks Thursday morning as I'm in the pool. Can't wait to hear you fucking saying about Dynamite. All right. I don't know, what the fuck what did I miss? because I didn't watch wrestling. I didn't look at wrestling. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm on the main event. I've watched all of Dynamite. I'm like, what did I miss? So I text Jenks. What did I miss? He's like, you had to have missed it. So he fills me in on, and I'm dancing around this real quick.
Yeah.
He tells me, I rewind back, and it happens in this match. And I know why I missed it. Because it was right after they came back from a split screen commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I went to grab a pop during that, or a beer, whatever, as I'm watching it. What the fuck did I miss? He tells me. I watch it. I'm disgusted. I watch it again, furious. I'm texting him now. The laundry list of fucking curse words that I had on that text.
Mm-hmm.
Disrespect and just complete fucking curtain jerking, cockbag sons of bitches. You did a fucking disservice, AEW. You're pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And I love you. Because I love AEW. But for what you did during this match, just to say that you're number one, go fuck yourself.
Exactly. Go fucking fuck yourself. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, the essentially blink and you miss it acknowledgement of superstar Billy Graham's passing during a table spot after split screen was absolutely atrocious.
Don't forget Rampage is on at 6:30 on Saturday night.
Yep. Squeezed in there a brief sentence about it. How the fuck do you think that is justified? And the only rationale I could come up with when I watched it, because I was super pissed. I was hot Wednesday night, and I was still hot when I texted you Thursday night. Because I'm like, how is this fucking going past? The only thing I can attribute it to was they had to be like it was the John Lennon Monday Night Football, John Lennon's passing on Monday Night Football announcement. That's the only thing I could attribute it to. But it was so quick, not even during a break in the action. Literally, somebody's getting thrown through a table at this point.
Oh, yeah. Superstar Billy Graham died.
Oh, yeah. Superstar Billy Graham unfortunately passed away. But here's Rampage, Friday night at 6:30. Oh, my God. Actually, at the end of it, his voice goes up with excitement because somebody went through the table. Like, how the fuck do you sit there and just honestly think, this is a great idea. Let's fucking do this. Let's do this. This is what we need to do. Absolutely fucking not. Why couldn't we wait? Why could we not wait until after the match and you throw up a picture?
You have people in the back. I'm jumping in.
You can't tell. Go for it.
You have 16 interns in the back doing nothing. You get the spot in your ear. Cool. Whatever. Intern A, get me any picture of superstar Billy Graham. We're nixing Tony Storm challenging Hayter. One, because Hayter's not here. Two, nobody fucking cares that she's going to challenge her this week. Take that 30 seconds and put a picture, because the house didn't hear it as well. Everybody, I don't even, in the Mood Theater or in Austin, essentially, they don't know. You're only doing it for the people watching TV.
Yep. Yeah.
And you're going to do it like that? Fuck you. Whoever's call that was. Tony, to Tony Schiavone, and if it was even Excalibur just getting on Twitter because he's on Twitter during the show. Yeah. I don't care. That's not the right time.
No, absolutely not. Take the 30 seconds. They're going to bump Tony to Rampage. Take 30 seconds. Have Tony Schiavone deliver that news and just move and just have something. Just have a small tribute. You don't need to do anything large because you know they're going to try to cover it up this week.
Do your package next week because we know you're not going to put it together for Rampage.
Exactly. Which is fine. Whatever. Do the package next week that's fine, but just take 30 seconds and acknowledge, ladies and gentlemen, even if you don't have the graphic, just acknowledge it and say, ladies and gentlemen, we have to stop for a minute. You know, superstar Billy Graham passed away. The unfortunate thing of this all was throughout the week we knew his health was declining. So there was a possibility this could have happened, right? Have that acknowledged and have that ready to go in case the unfortunate event happens. Be prepared for it. You have to do better. You can't tell me there was nobody. You said 16 interns. I'm looking at the EVPs because you weren't doing anything between the time you got jumped in a parking lot to the time you got into the arena. I don't care if K-Fab's dead. You're not selling that injury for 2 hours. So what are you guys doing back there? Somebody figure something out. Pull a finger out of an ass and just start tweeting or find a picture. Put it out there. Get this out there for the public, but do it as a service and a memorial to him. Doesn't have to be anything grand. Doesn't have to be anything. Just something quick to acknowledge he passed away and give him 30 seconds of your time. That's all they had to do.
They
Not
gave 2 during a table spot.
2 during a table spot where the inflection in their voice raised up in excitement because there was a table spot that happened in the middle of a chaotic spectacle match. That kind of killed the match for me. I mean, there was a cool spot that they were doing on the side of the stairwell. I can't appreciate that because of what they did in this.
Yep. And that's why I don't care about this match. What
Exactly.
Literally missed it. Again, I was just like, what are you talking about? So if anybody was nowhere near the TV or their dog barked, you didn't hear this.
Yeah.
Or if you were just caught up in the action, you're like, what did you say? Oh, a table spot. Okay.
Yeah.
It was literally so mundane. Ladies and gentlemen, we just got word of the passing of superstar Billy Graham. Table spot!
Yep. That was exactly it. It was so low, so nothing. You had no commentary. You had nothing on. Even if you don't watch AEW with audio on, you miss it because you have nothing to go off of. There's no graphic. There's nothing.
Yeah. Piss poor planning, piss poor everything around that. You can do better. I know you guys do better. Fucking just put the effort in. Just put the effort in to just acknowledge it. I get it. He didn't work for your company, but this was a long time. He worked a long time ago. There's been guys you've memorialized. Guys.
And yeah, it happened during your show. There's a way to do this and deliver this message in a way. I don't know if it was panic. I'm really trying not to assume the worst, but I have to assume the worst that you wanted to pull the Lennon Monday Night Football news. But it's not the same. It's not the time and place. That news happened. It was an iconic moment. That news even happened when there was no play happening. Yes, there was in the middle of a game-winning field goal, but they had a break in the action. They delivered the news. It was iconic, but it was respectful at the same time. This was it was in the middle of the action, in the middle of a spectacle match, nonetheless. I get it. You want to be that first person, but sometimes being the first is not the play here.
You weren't the first. They were not the first.
They were nowhere the first.
I don't know this for a fact.
Right.
So this is Mark data. But there was no possible way. The technology today, it was either, and I'm throwing a bone to the Russell Votes or Sean or anybody else. It was probably Honest Injun, an older wrestler.
Yeah.
That got word from Superstar's wife. And she's like, if you want to tell the public, go ahead and tweet it out or whatever. It was that person. And they know the wrestling world wanted to know. The Excalibur did not get the fucking phone call during the match.
Did not. He didn't.
You weren't the first one.
Yeah.
So you didn't need to be the first one on TV. It makes no sense.
It doesn't, because even being the first one on TV, there's no other wrestling program on during that time frame. to compete with you to get that news out.
Right.
Even if you consider, so why? No, listen. Unfortunately, not a lot of mainstream media is picking up on wrestling, on wrestlers or anything about professional wrestling. So they're not going to acknowledge superstar Billy Graham died. They're not. You are alone in your own bubble, living your own life.
Yep.
Take the time, be respectful, wait the 10 minutes till the match wraps, and then go for it.
It literally, the next thing they had on after it went right into the Roosh and Jungle Boy match, which was a longer match.
Right.
Okay? Then Renee and MJF. Okay. Whatever. We're talking 15 minutes, roughly. That's where Renee and Tony happened. And I always say that's probably where it should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Even MJF slapping could have gone. I understand you have that match with Roosh and Jungle Boy because you've taken stuff outside. You have to get the inside crowd back again. That's why you push that lickety-split right afterwards. I'm not trying to defend them, but I just, looking at the wrestling booking, I'm trying to see where and how this all happens. So you have them hot take come right back out. Scrap MJF.
Yeah.
Move MJF to where Tony was. There's enough time in there to literally 30 seconds. That's all it really needs to be. Shuffle Shivani down real quick after the match. Boom.
Yeah. That's all they needed. And honestly, they could have taken 30 seconds out of Roosh and Jungle Boy. If they were so hard pressed to keep everything else, take 30 seconds from Roosh and Jungle Boy.
Right.
Take one of the guardrail spots away, and you would have had enough time. That's it. That's all you had to do.
Distasteful, AEW. Very distasteful. So whoever is to blame, suck on it. So I'm sad that we're ending on a note like that.
Right.
But sometimes
things happen. Yep.
Do better. What do you got planned for the week?
Some week coming up, we were going to make a trip for flea market about an hour away. However, it's going to rain tomorrow, so that ain't going to fucking happen. So, visiting the girlfriend.
It's torrential rains tomorrow.
It's torrential rains. It is fucking torrential rain. So that's not going to happen. I'll visit the girlfriend at some point this weekend. She's feeling better. She's been under the weather for past week and a half. No longer sounds like she's been smoking for about 80 years in a row, which is fantastic. She still has her cough.
God love her.
You know what? God love her. She's had a lot go on since she turned 30, and I feel bad for her.
Goes downhill from there.
When she's like, ever since my birthday, it's gone pretty well downhill. I'm like, yeah, hopefully there'll be some bright spots here, and hopefully I've been one of them, but whatever.
Oh, you're fucking shining glimmer.
I'm fucking probably pain in her ass more than anything most days, but, no, outside of that, getting ready for the weekend, the Memorial Day weekend, have a big thing planned, not a big thing, but big breakfast kind of thing planned that weekend. So just gearing up for Double or Nothing, getting ready for a weekend of wrestling. And, I'm kind of probably already checked out from work next week just because the holiday's coming up. So, there's that too. But what about you? What do you got going on?
Few interviews coming up this week to have them in the hopper because the next couple of weeks are crazy. Softball, baseball playoffs start this week. Legion baseball was supposed to start week, and I'm on the board about that, but since a lot of local teams have made it into the playoffs, they essentially pushed Legion back for a hot minute to see what goes on. And I've been checked out of work for about 46 years. I'm actually ready for the 27th and 28th for a whole weekend of wrestling too.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
I may even watch Saudi live. Right?
My God in heaven. Are you okay down there?
It's because it just has to fit the schedule anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
So when else? I can't watch it on Sunday.
No.
I can't give a Saudi show prior to AEW. I'd be burned out, and I would probably be disappointed going into AEW.
Well, but maybe that would skew your results of AEW because you'd love AEW probably so much more than what's going on at the Saudi show. And yeah,
have to have the notes in pen, ready to go. So it looks like I'm watching a live Saudi show for the first time next week.
I'm impressed. I probably will not be, but hey, more power to you. I might have to pull it all day, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. Or Saudi's going to happen on Monday.
On Wednesday.
Well, for me, I'm off Monday, so maybe it'll happen Monday.
Tell everybody how you're off on Memorial Day. That's nice. That's grand.
Yeah, I'm just off on Memorial Day. It's the nature of the beast,
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this one up. We went long, but that's okay. Next week, quick wrestling, long intro, mega long predictions. Probably more predictions than anything else.
Probably more predictions than we've ever had on this show, I would have to say.
Yeah.
2 different companies. There's a lot to digest, a lot to discuss. So, good times and great fun are
Title
on the horizon.
Title will be on the line for one of the events.
I'm sure you've already decided which event, but keep us in suspense. It's definitely the Saudi show because he's watching it live.
Do we ever defend during a Saudi show?
No, but
we don't travel overseas.
You never know. Hey, listen, because you're watching it live. I don't know. Things are changing here. The sky up is down, black is white. Who knows what's going on anymore?
I love you.
I love you too.
Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
You're a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. And make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them.
Because you never know.
Boop boop.